we're gonna have to start back in the offices of our dear friend Mr. Grayson, and just to make it a little bit easier to start the rescue campaign, we'll essentially have it so that you were all there together. You were, whether you knew Mr. Grayson previously and had been working for him, or you answered, you know, a posting that he made. I'll let you guys decide how you would like to do that, but you're all there in his office, Eve included, basically just learning about what you need to do. So Grayson explains to you the situation, that it's bad for business, for jobs that he has been asked to complete to go uncompleted. In addition, he's grown a bit of a fondness for the three missing people. He appreciates what they did in helping further his plans for Aaron, which was before Eve got there, so you don't know who Aaron is. So, I mean, if you guys want to like introduce your characters, or if you have any questions for Mr. Grayson, we can go that route.
I guess I'll go first. Let me see. All right, I will. He will have much. He won't be like dressed exactly as this, but that is what he looks like. He is a very, very old dwarf, long white hair and beard. He has on pretty standard looking chainmail armor. And you can see over the chest there used to be some sort of insignia on it, but he has either burned it or rubbed it off with like something like that. At his waist, he has what looks like an oversized blacksmithing hammer. And other than that, he kind of is just very quiet, sitting there to himself, and probably would only have talked to like agree to the job and stuff so far. He seems very old and kind of crotchety.
If that's the case, the next up is you see a.
Did he just cut out for anyone else?
No, yeah, I was just clicking to make sure I
Okay,
put it in correctly.
Gotcha.
So you also see a halfling with a ginger mohawk, piercing green eyes, carrying around I wouldn't say comically large shield, but definitely a bit bigger than what he should be using. And he looks, even though he looks healthy, he does look malnourished or just ill to some extent.
Grayson knows how to pick them.
Tara?
Yeah, her mic is apparently not working.
Oh.
Oh. She's gone. Oh no.
Well, I guess both of her characters are dead. We'll move on.
Fuck no. I have a feeling my character's
yeah, if you guys
die.
have any questions or concerns for Grayson or for Eve, since
Eve, who is
she knows
like
these people.
Yeah, Eve is like standing behind Grayson, looking down, and then like holding her hands together, and is just looking kind of sad and kind of shameful.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Perfect. Sweet. Okay, so Isla would be standing off to the side a bit, kind of looking very, very poised, back straight. Kind of, as she glances around the room, kind of looks like she's looking down on the others, especially the dwarf and halfling, and her ears pointed, hair blonde and tied back. Her eyes are blue. She is wearing leather armor that doesn't seem like it's been through much, and a sun hat. And you can see she's has a pack around her shoulders, and let me see if I can grab a picture of her. There we go.
All right.
So, how long ago were they lost?
Been about 4 days.
And is it just one hag?
There was two. We managed to kill one. The other one was. She was too powerful.
And you don't believe there's others?
From what I saw, I managed to see the entire area. There were no other hags. There were children, but I'm not sure if they'll still be alive.
Do you remember the way?
Yes, mostly yes.
I suppose lead on then. I mean, 4 days is a long time not to be tended for wounds.
They were strong. I'm sure they'll be. Then she just shuts up after that. She just looks down.
The question is, are you willing to go?
Of course. Why wouldn't I be?
Not everyone is designed to come back from a traumatic experience.
I may not be very strong, but I have to go back. It would kill me not to go back.
It could kill you going back.
Sometimes I think perhaps I should have just stayed and fought like the others. I have to go back just to see if there's anything even left of them.
From the back, the dwarf, he's gonna look, and I'll say he hasn't, like, he's pretty new here. He has spoken to Grayson before, but he's gonna look up to the symbol behind him and say, "What does that represent?"
To Grayson,
Yep.
and he gives his normal sort of disturbing looking smirk and just says, "It's a family crest."
Do I know it? Do I recognize it at all as anything else, like coming from a religious background?
No.
No. Okay. He'll just look. He'll look at it and say, "Seems not too many take kindly to to religion in these parts. I thought it might be something like that."
And he smiles again and says, "It's a valid assumption as far as religion is concerned, but I would be wary of flaunting any such things."
Just gives him a bit of a nod, and you see his hand go to where the burning marks are on his armor on his chest.
And Grayson just looks at everybody and, "So is there anything else that I can be of service?"
Well, if you have any healing potions, that would make getting them back alive a little bit more easier.
Well, I do have someone who has the ability to make such things. However, it's not an easy thing to do, nor is it a cheap thing to do. And he sort of just knocks on his desk, and his Victoria comes out. Victoria is she doesn't really look much like Grayson. Grayson again is looks more of the stereotypical sort of devil, where he has the reddish skin and the more of the devil horns. He does look a bit sinister. His daughter, you would guess, maybe like 14, 15, like a early teens. But she has more maroon colored skin. So it's a bit darker than his, a bit of a purple hue to it, and she has the more her horns lay back against her head, so a bit more like ram's horns, and a bit more like if you think of like the way that Jester is drawn, Roll, like they're more like that. They don't stick out in the front like Grayson's does. So she comes in after he knocks on the desk, and you see that he leans over and whispers to her, and she nods, and then goes back into the back area. And Eve, I don't think you were here to listen to the description. Essentially, his office, it's a fairly well decorated room. It has a lot of bookshelves with a lot of books, a rather large desk that he sits at, and there are chairs out on the other side that you all can sit at. And then if you are walking into the room, so you walk into the door, and then you would see his desk in front of you, and then behind him is the crest that our dwarf friend was asking about. And then to the right of that crest, there is an opening that has just it's a green curtain essentially. There isn't a door there. It's like it's a big opening to another room, but you can't see anything back there because there's a curtain there. So that's where Victoria goes. She goes back through the curtain, and it's probably a minute or two before she returns, and she hands him a small leather bag, which he sort of hands off to, or just puts it. He just pushes it to the edge of his desk, and informs you that inside there is 2 healing potions. And he also acknowledges the fact that that would be coming out of the reward that you would be getting.
Well, that's fine by me. We don't get them back alive, we're not going to get the reward anyway, so. And she just shrugs and takes the bag, not even like checking to see if the others were okay with that.
Dennard kind of will just stand up there and look at him and say, or actually he'll look up to Eve and say, so how many of the little ones were still there?
She sort of closes her eyes and thinks, and she says, there were 3 in the first room. We managed to get them out of the cages, and I gave them something to eat and something warm to wear, and a dagger, which they still have. And then there were 2 downstairs. The witch was doing something to them. But there was also a man. He had this strange tattoo, and she sort of trails off. It looked kind of like a dragon, but I'm not sure if he's going to have survived. He was very weak.
Hey, let's get going then. So he kind of just looks around at everyone and looks at he's gonna look at everyone and look at the half and says, might take me and you a bit more time than these ones to get there.
I don't know, I'm quite fast.
I'm quite old.
So before you guys make your way out, you actually see someone else come back through the curtain. Everybody go ahead and do a quick perception check.
Oh, I see Aurelis Nevis is on the map now. Yay. Fucking yes, that's starting the session now, right?
So this person that you see walk in is not somebody that obviously any of you have seen before. Eve, you've been here before, and you've never seen this person either. So with those perceptions, you would guess that this is a female based on the build of the person. What you notice is that she has a hood up, and so you don't get a good look at her face, but you see that she's tall. I mean, well over 6 feet tall. Probably about between 6'3" and 6'5". Quite thin. What you can see though is that through the under the hood, you can see that she has very pale, almost like grayish colored, but lighter than. So when I say gray skin, don't imagine like gray skin like a drow. It's lighter than that. And she also has white hair. Again, not exactly like a drow. Your initial thought would be kind of like that, but with those perceptions, you recognize it isn't a drow. But you can see that in passing, you can see that her eyes are actually closed, and you can see these marks around her eyes, like these black marks. And she just walks in very quietly. It's almost like she's floating into the room, and she leans down and whispers to Grayson something, and then she just turns around and walks away. Grayson doesn't make any motion, doesn't like introduce her, doesn't even look at her. He still just sort of has his attention on you guys. Even when she bends down to whisper in his ear, he does not like register that she's even there. That's it. That's all I see.
Denner probably wouldn't have even really noticed he's been picking up his stuff, getting ready to walk out.
He's gonna sort of look over the color that she saw and just think about it for a moment, and she's like, better draw that down. And she sort of just continues with the group.
Well, should we get off then?
Do you all have appropriate cold weather clothing?
The dwarf just nods.
Where we're going, it can tend to blizzard. If we are going into town, I think perhaps I should stay hidden.
Right. Well,
I don't really see a reason in going in town unless it takes a while to get there. How many days?
How many days did it take originally to get there? It was like a day, wasn't
I think
it?
was 2 days.
Yeah, roughly 2 days.
It'll take, depending on the weather, roughly 2 days.
I'm pretty familiar with mountains, so shouldn't be too bad.
I remember the path we walked, at least most of it.
Alright.
If we're all ready, we can probably get moving.
Right, you up in front then.
Mm-hmm. Off we go.
Hold on a second. I actually have a phone call. Roll. Be just 1 second.
Yeah, it definitely sucks having 2 characters that you've created that you actually like.
Well,
I mean,
how many characters that you hate?
I am definitely more interested in playing Bjorn, but this guy is definitely he could be very interesting too, especially in this world.
So, how do you guys want to approach? Eve, you could probably get your way back to there, but question is, do you want to go back through Skytop, or would you prefer to go around Skytop?
Eve's gonna ask if they can avoid Skytop.
I don't see any point in going back unless we have something to go back with. If we find little ones, then we could bring them back.
Eve just quietly nods.
he kind of looks over at the halfling and just he kind of just nods at him, and he looks up at the elf and he goes, "Are you okay with traveling through the cold?"
Oh, I'm fine. I've got winter weather clothes.
All right. And unless there's a emergency, no real need to stop into the town first.
Okay. So then the next question is, do you guys want to attempt to go back the way Eve left, which is essentially the front door, or do you want to try and contact the pixies again?
That would kind of be up to Eve because I don't even know if we would know about that yet.
Oof. Eve would definitely suggest trying to get aid of the pixies.
Does anybody speak Sylvan?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Someone could have comprehend languages.
Oh yeah, shit.
No.
You know,
I haven't chosen another language, so I could technically, but I don't really want to metagame this.
perhaps the front door is the best way in then.
Well, the dwarf kind of just looks in and says, "If you if you already killed the one at the back door, then might as well go straight to the source of the problem now."
If I remember correctly, the front door led straight to a long corridor and then a hollowed out room, which was possibly where she did most of her work, because that's where we found her first.
Right. As the dwarf looks around, what's like everyone like equipped with like wearing and such? Like, does anyone else have like heavy armor on? I'm assuming the paladin does.
The paladin is wearing studded leather.
Oh, okay. So you are a fast one. And Tara, do you have armor on?
There's the studded leather,
All right.
and she's got a wooden shield at her back.
Okay.
Eve has no armor.
He'll look at you three and say, "Hey, you three might want to stay a bit behind me." And he hits the metal on his chest with his hand. He goes, "Probably a bit better off taking the brunt of it than you all."
Well, you're not the only one who's used to fighting.
I'm more of a background person, if you know what I mean.
Honestly, mostly the things that I do are heal and search. So go on and stay ahead of me, and I'll keep you healed if you need it.
He as soon as you say that, he kind of looks at you and he, religious person yourself?
Not at all.
He kind of looks in the nature then, yes.
Yes. And you, I'm assuming, religion?
I'm assuming we're walking not into the city at this point. Like we could do this as we're walking on the road by ourselves.
Yeah.
He'll put his hand up again to the burn mark on his chest and go, "I come from took me about 3 months to get here on the boat, but yes, religion, yes."
I see.
I'm a wielder of arcane mostly. I can't heal, but I can cast the spells.
Real quick, Robert, how tall is your character?
3 foot.
He's gonna look at you and say, "All right, little guy, you?"
My powers are none of your concern.
You're gonna be fighting with you, a bit concerned.
Just know I can fight.
Just nods.
All right, everybody roll survival check. See, let's see if you get lost in the woods.
Oh my god, we have a wise person.
Oh, hail the wise one.
See, if it was a nature check, I could have something for this, but it's not.
All right. As a group, you do all right. So it takes a little bit longer because you're going out of your way to avoid Skytop, which means you have to go around and through the woods and through the mountains that because the essentially the pass leads directly to Skytop and then around. So to go around the town is going to be a little more difficult, but nothing terrible happens on your way over there. Um, Eventually, you do find your way back to the the mouth of the cave, and there is there's still snow on the ground from before, and the snow hasn't melted, so Ayla is actually able to um, spot footprints that lead to where the group initially went in the back way, and then can also go far enough around to see Eve's steps out of the place. Um, so you get to the mouth of the cave, and you can feel that the air in the cave is cold and kind of clammy. Um, the walls and the ground are covered in sort of a thin film of slime.
As we're like approaching and walking towards the entrance of the cave, Xanard's gonna. So how far into this do we have to go?
How far in was the run?
It's the tunnel leading to the door of the hag's sort of lair. So if you sort of like as a reminder of the way that you guys were, the back way was essentially ended up in the prison, and then you went down some stairs, and then down a longer tunnel, and then down some more stairs. So essentially, like that part of the cave is above where you are now. So there's about 100-foot tunnel from the entrance leading to a door, and then behind that door is where everybody died.
She explains that.
Well, as we're coming to the mouth of the cave, then I'm gonna look towards the halfling and say, "Oi, hey, what's your weapon of choice?"
I can use any blade, but at the moment I have a rapier.
He looks. He goes, "A bit of a artisan myself. You mind if I have a quick look at it?"
Sure. And
He'll
pass it over to you.
he'll take it from you, and he's gonna kind of just look over it. Aye, pretty nice work here. One moment, and he's gonna stop where he's standing real quick and just trace a bit of like a symbol over it. And for the next hour, you're gonna have a plus, or no, until your next long rest, you're gonna have a +1 weapon. And when he finishes, it kind of like does like a little shimmer of like radiant energy, and you see his eyes kind of close. And when he opens them, he has a bit of like the like yellowish, whitish light behind him. And then he shakes it out of his head and he goes, "I might treat you a bit better for the rest of the day."
Well, hopefully it does well.
And then he's gonna real quick just look to Eve and say, "Hi, we're about to be going in. You tell me, and I got a little bit something for everyone else."
She gives it a little bit of a nod.
Eve, do a straight intelligence check.
Is she gonna have a panic attack check? 12. Fuck.
No, it was pretty much it was pretty low DC to. This is just a remember. You remember as you're thinking back and going through all the things that have happened in the previous fight. You remember that the room right after the place where you found the kids and the naked man, there were small bunks, and you had remembered that you had seen fey creatures talking to that child. So you kind of put 2 and 2 together and realize, okay, so yes, it's a hag's lair, but there are also other things here.
So she'll warn the party that she says, well, there could be other things besides the hag, I believe. And then she opens up her book quickly and she's flicking through the pages, and then she gets to a bit and she puts her finger down and she says, quicklings, darklings, redcaps, and pixies, possibly. Any kind of small fey creature.
Well, you say the pixies helped you last time, so we don't got to worry about them, hopefully.
Yeah, but the darklings and the redcaps are the ones I'm a little more worried about.
Hey. Yeah. We come across them, we'll know to be ready.
Hmm.
So are we like trying to stealth in?
I mean, it's a corridor.
I do have something that will help with stealth if you all want to be quiet.
Swerve kind of looks at you and goes, I haven't been able to be quiet in many, many years, but I can give it a shot.
She just rolls her eyes and then casts Pass Without a Trace on everybody.
So I have a -2 to Dex, and I have heavy armor, so I'm at disadvantage.
We're fucked.
Just stay close to me and
It's Pike all
hopefully you
over
all
again.
do fine.
Yep. So 14.
6. Maybe 16.
32.
That natural one, though.
I believe paladins are long rest.
Yep, they are.
Alright, so
Okay.
again, I've never done paladin, so I'm just making sure.
Yep, it sucks.
19.
I remember playing paladins and everybody was like, well, even when in that one that we played, Robert, where we had a couple of warlocks and like, oh yeah, short rest, and I'm like, I got nothing unless we wait for 8 hours. Yeah. Here.
So yeah, we have one very quiet person with like everyone else clanking along behind her, I guess. I mean, to be fair, if I rolled worse, I could have actually still gotten under a 10 with Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah, I double checked, and Druid is also long rest.
There you go. That's
I think only warlocks are short, and then I think also
wizards
that
can do it with their
arcane recovery. Yeah.
Yep. And elves can kind of get it back because they don't have to have a long rest anyway.
True.
This is why I prefer doing fighters.
Yep. Take a short rest and literally become a god for an entire round.
Wow. So you aren't 100% sure that you're being particularly quiet, but nothing like bursts out of the door and attacks you or anything.
So once we're getting close to the door, I'm gonna go ahead and give everyone else aside from me bless. So you'll have a D4 for your saving throws and attack rolls.
Nice. I wish there was like a place where you could put blessed down so you remember you have it.
I'll remind you guys.
You can put it in the modifiers, but it takes a bit of time setting it up.
I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah, he does that, and he kind of just looks to everyone, and like looks to the door again, and
Wait.
Hmm?
Just give me a moment. And I'm going to use my paladin ability of sense of darkness. So it's basically divine sense.
Does he sense the spook?
So it's celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of the door.
Do not sense it. Of that.
Okay, if that's the case, I will spend my 1 channel divinity on Shadow Talk. So for 10 minutes, everyone, all 4 of us, I'll be able to use the message spell.
Yeah, you basically could talk to each other just telepathically.
Okay.
So you'll all hear in your head, just try not to make too much sound.
You see Isla startled a bit. And then looks around at the others.
The dwarf kind of just nods at everyone. And then thinks in his head, just tell me when.
He sort of says she goes to speak aloud, and then she does the whole telepath fucking word. I can't say the word.
Telepathic.
Mind speak. Thank you. I'll speak today. I've been struggling. It's been really hard. She sort of says telepathically. There we. I'll follow along behind.
I guess I'll start trying. I guess for
It is locked.
it is locked.
I don't know the knock spell.
Probably wouldn't want to cast it. It's loud.
It's not loud.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's like a 200-foot like sound that comes off it or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Damn.
All right, it's locked. Can I put my ear up to the door and listen? See if I hear anything on the other side?
Yep.
All right. Oh my god. Nope.
When you cast the spell, a loud knock, audible from as far away as 300 feet, emanates from the target
Fuck.
object. Yeah.
I'll just think, anyone have a way of opening this? Or do we got to brute force it?
I just realised, why don't I have Chaos Bolt as a spell?
Chaos Bolt?
Chaos Bolt.
I'm taking a wow?
No, it's a spell I've had before with my other wild mages. Hold on.
Oh shit, yeah, it is. From Xanathar's, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in. Oh, that's why it's not in here. It's because it's not on the goddamn Roll20 list.
Yeah, nothing in Xanathar's is. You have to add it yourself.
As I am a blacksmith and I've made many different things, do I have anything I think I could use as like an impromptu set of thieves' tools in my backpack? Like whether it's just scraps of old metal or anything?
I mean, you probably have materials to do it. Whether or not you would be capable of using it as a lockpick is a different story, but
I could try and melt it. Like,
He kind of
no?
looks at you and goes, I can do that myself, but I think this may work. And I will.
Would you like me to try, as I'm quite nimble?
Hey, if you think so. And I'm gonna attempt to give him the best explanation that I could about thieves' tools, assuming he knows absolutely nothing about them. And I'll just give him a brief description of how to try to do it.
Well, if this doesn't work, we might have to go for the loud option.
I mean, it would be disadvantaged since you're not proficient in tools.
So just a d20 plus dex.
I believe that's what it is, yeah. Yeah. Does not unlock. But as it was not a critical failure, I'll say that it wasn't particularly loud, so it wasn't
Right.
like you were, shaking the lock or anything.
Would you like it to
If you think you can, yeah. Let her have a try. And put my back against the wall and get out of her way.
Okay, first. Yeah, first she will drop Pass Without a Trace to cast Guidance on herself. And then attempt it. And then a d4.
But you don't have your legacy, so you got to roll twice because you're at disadvantage.
Oh, yes, I didn't set up legacy on this.
You can keep the D4, but
Oh.
still it's an 18, so it still unlocks.
All right.
That wasn't too hard.
Leonard kind of gives a side eye to to the paladin and just, we all ready then?
Yes, would you like me to go first?
Yeah. I'm used to being up front, but if you think you can handle, go ahead.
And I will attempt to quietly open the door.
Of course, I gave you a little bit of light, but
I think all of us
your
have dark
halflings,
vision.
Halflings don't.
Oh, they don't?
Nope.
Wow, I actually thought that they did.
I did too when I created my first halfling, only to be sorely disappointed. Yep, halflings and humans are about, I think, the only two in the player's handbook. Those races are the only two that don't.
I don't think half works do they?
Nope, they do.
They do? Wow.
Yep. So I gave you a tiny bit of light, but you don't have much.
If you ask E, will light something up for you. But
In my mind, real quick, I'm gonna think is this the room, or do we have to continue on for a?
we're in the room.
Right.
Can you not see?
Oh no, I can see. I just have never been here.
Unfortunately, I can't.
I can give you a bit of light if needed.
Me too. You can hear the tiniest bit of excitement in her voice when you say that. But overall, she's just fucking terrified.
Alright. So yeah, Denner was gonna say, well, if we want, and he's gonna nod towards Ayla. Seems to be a bit quiet. She can see in the dark. If you want her to take the lead, me and you could stay close behind her.
Very well.
And I'll give you a bit of light once we see what we're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, and you see, she doesn't respond verbally or mentally or anything, but she starts to walk this way and then glances back at Eve to see if she's going the right way.
She just nods. She says, "Wait, wouldn't we have come out from under here?" Because that's where you said the stairs were. I mean, that's where you said the way in was.
Well, the stairs come down right here. It looks like.
I know, but there was a doorway we entered through, and it was here. Is this the same room? Or am I getting mixed up?
You guys came down the stairs from the other room. So where you are right now, Eve, you're in front of the door. That's the door to the quote unquote entrance. The stairs, the place where you found the kid.
Okay.
So like the last time you guys were here, you came down those stairs and then ended up
Oh, okay.
here.
So the
I'm
door is like back this way.
Yes, where Eve
I,
is
th-
standing. Eve
I
is
thought that D was over here.
No.
My mistake. I'm a ding. Eve is just gonna nod. She says, "This was the room. Upstairs we saw the children, and down here was where she was."
Everybody make a perception check.
I was gonna say Isla sees stuff, something.
I would like to make mine at disadvantage.
Dude, I cannot roll for shit.
7.
So Eve and Ayla, you guys actually both, you hear a bit of like chattering noise. You don't understand what's being said, and you also hear what sounds like just the most horrifying, disturbing voice that's just like humming this terrible like tune.
Yeah, Eve, Ayla kind of points towards where she sees something. She sees it like at the very periphery of her dark vision, but whoops, that's not what I want to do. There. She points this way.
Eve's gonna cast Mage Armor on herself. So my AC will go up to... I think it's just 13. Yeah, just 13.
So I'll look at the halfling and I'll say, "Wait, hey, up ahead, straight ahead of you, got a little bit of something. Once we get close enough, I'll light you up."
That would be appreciated.
So I guess the question is, do we want to just run forward, or do like I really don't see us sneaking up, but I mean we could always try.
Might as well try. There's no harm in it. Let's try and be sneaky. I guess there is some harm to it.
Yep.
Somebody better get a nat 20. Fuck. Of course I get a nat 20, but it's on the other one.
All right, everybody, go ahead and roll initiative.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will allow you to, as you're running up and making noise, I'll allow you to throw some light on.
Okay, then yeah, I'll just cast light on. I mean, do you have your weapon out still? I'll just cast.
Oh, I've got a
I was gonna
shield
say
as well.
Eve was gonna like put...
Okay, then whatever one is in your, since I'm on your left side, whatever one's in your left hand, I'll cast it on.
Yeah,
And
that was a
Isla
shield.
pulls out her shield as well.
Okay.
And I meant to get some battle music this week, but I did not have a chance to do it. So we're just going to listen to this.
You were doing
slow
unimportant stuff like making the map.
map prep.
Okay. All right. So let's. Okay. So this little creature runs up and it is going to throw a dagger at you, Eve.
Great.
Wow. It misses you entirely. It clangs against the wall behind you.
Can Eve just... I'm gonna pick it up.
So, Rue, it is your turn. I assume, is it Rue? Is that
Rue, Ro, whatever you want to call him.
I'm gonna call you a robot.
Yeah, your Discord is kind of roboting on you.
1 second. Is that a little better?
Much.
Yeah, so Rue, Ro, whatever you want to call him. So he's going to move up to there because he's only got 25 feet of movement. And he's going to take the dodge action.
Okay.
That's it.
Ayla.
She will step forward in front, say out loud, "There's a second one over here," with a point, and then cast. Yeah, she'll cast Chill Touch at the close.
I don't like the name of that. Chill touch seems like it should be a touch spell.
Yeah, I know.
All right. That definitely hits it. 2 points of damage. No. All right, so you cast this. Everybody you see a shimmering, ghostly, skeletal hand that just like scrapes across this little creature, and it sort of like recoils a little bit and kind of looks a little bit afraid. It is now the other one's turn. Gonna move up here. And it's just gonna kind of get into a little defensive stance. And as you all start moving and all this stuff starts happening, you hear just this terrible, like, cackling.
Oh, hey, lovely.
Eve's face just goes pale. Paler than it actually is.
And as she sort of lumbers forward and is laughing, she looks at you, Eve, and just again in this voice that just like chills you to the bone, she just says, "Welcome back."
I never ended up watching the video. Is that whatever Granny Greengrove?
Oh, I mean, I don't think we heard her name, but we're assuming.
Okay.
And because you're standing in the way, Ayla, what is your AC?
18.
All right.
Holy shit.
So that's pretty good. It's not good enough, but what is the? Oh, that's... Okay. So as she says "welcome back," she reaches up her hand, and it sort of starts to this black sort of energy starts to emanate from it, and she just reaches her hand out, and it actually shoots over Rue's head because he's short, and it smacks you for 5 points of damage as she shoots an eldritch blast at your face.
Yeah. Yep, Isla kind of stumbles back and then glances back at Eve to see if she had gotten hurt as well, and notices that, nope, Isla did what she wanted to do and got in the way.
All right. Did the music just stop for everybody else?
Nope,
Not me.
I'm still going.
Okay.
I'm finding that the music cuts out randomly.
Yeah. I usually refresh and it works.
So
The old one was so much better.
so much better. I mean, the only thing I like about this is that it is nice that you can sort of use your own stuff
Mhm.
without having to upload it. But yeah, it doesn't work very well. So give me a second. So she sort of ignores the creatures around her, and she has an innate spell that she's going to cast after her cantrip of Eldritch. And you can see that as she's continuing to laugh, you see the air around her sort of fill with like spinning, and they're just like spinning all around her, and they actually hit the creatures that are standing next to her. But Eve, it is your turn.
She's sort of standing terrified behind you. She's gonna raise her hand up, sort of like over your shoulder, and sort of red silver fire comes out, and she's gonna cast a twinned firebolt. So one will go to this little thing, and one will go to the big bitch. But I'm not doing it advantage, so it just takes one sorcery point. Okie dokie, so that one goes to her. And that one goes to the other guy.
Nice.
And then I think, because it's her. Yeah.
So they both take 4 points.
I think do I have to roll? Yeah, I have to roll for what magic, I think. I always forget when I need to roll
it's
for it.
a cantrip, so you don't need to roll it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a cantrip. I always think it's a first level spell.
I mean, technically, the way that it's supposed to work, though, if you want to do it this way, I'm more than happy to do it because I think it's fun. But technically, unless you do a wild surge, you don't have to roll. And then, but I like the idea. If you want it to happen, anytime that you do a level spell or level 1 spell or higher, you can roll.
Okay, well that was
But
a cantrip.
cantrips don't trigger it
I
because
kind of like
otherwise it would just happen every time.
I kind of like the idea that if her emotions are going haywire, she has like a higher chance of causing wild magic. But yeah.
All right, Denard, it is your turn.
So I'll move 1, 2, 3. You guys kind of see him like old man, like kind of like try to move fast, but he's not really moving fast. Up to here. He will kind of like as he's running up, you can kind of see his face like he was not expecting this. He looks a bit nervous, but he runs up anyway, and he puts his like mace back on his hip, and he's gonna lift a hand up in like the same kind of color that you saw behind his eyes, like fire starts burning in his hand, and he's gonna throw a sacred flame at the big thing, and it will be 4 damage if she doesn't dodge.
$30. 17.
All right, so nothing happens, and he just grabs his mace back in his hand and sits there ready to start getting beat up.
All right. It is this little creature's turn. And it is. I have to take more damage from her spinning daggers. Holy crap. It's
like
his
that
turn.
sound.
Yeah, he dies from her spinning daggers.
Mhm.
So, Rue, if you're back, it is your turn.
So do these two, whatever they are, look the same, or are they distinctly different?
They're different.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the same. They appear to be the same type of creatures, but
Okay. It's not like just copies of themselves.
no. While we're waiting on Robert, you could do a just in your head. We'll just say you can do a nature check, maybe,
Who?
if you want to know what these are.
Oh, sure. 10. Probably not.
Maybe I want to see. Nope.
I'm better at nature than the druid.
I mean, given the details that Eve gave you previously, you can all assume that they are either
Quick or dark?
quicklings or darklings. You would assume they're probably not red caps because red caps have a big look to them.
Back.
These are not it. All right, it is your turn.
Yeah, sorry, I just had a risky sneeze.
You're a bit robot-y again.
1 second. Better?
Not really.
Any better?
You sounded better, but it's still like you're talking in slow motion, kinda.
Now?
I think it sounded better.
Yeah, a little better, I think.
A little.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I had a risky sneeze I had to deal with.
And just as a reminder, she has spinning blades that are going around her, and it actually killed this other creature.
Well,
Poor
fun.
little guy.
So I am going. What's your character called? Dennard is going to watch as Ro reaches out and pulls the darks in to create a thin shield around himself.
Which I'm sure the holy man loves to see.
Oh, yeah.
And cast Shield of the Faithless, which is Shield of Faith.
Okay.
Wait, do we have like an oath? Wait, what the hell is everyone's classes? I know I've got a druid.
I am a cleric of the forge.
Okay, I've got a druid, I've got a cleric of the forge.
I am a paladin.
But are you like a... Okay.
It will
Okay.
give away too much if he says exactly what kind of paladin he is. He's not he's not an oathbreaker though.
Suspicious.
Yeah, I've got to be careful
Alright.
with how I put this.
So, let me see.
Yeah, I assume I take damage from moving into an area.
Yeah, yes, you do.
I can't trust anyone because of critical role. God damn it.
My AC is the same as my initiative.
You take 10 points of slashing damage as you walk into her cloud of daggers.
Who walks into a cloud of daggers?
Sweet. And I will hit myself a hag.
And also, you need to roll a concentration check because you took damage in Shield of the Faith. No problem.
Yeah, I think I nailed that one at the very least. So yeah, fingers crossed I can hit with this +1 rapier. Does a 15 hit her?
It does not.
I think you've got whatever
You got less.
less.
So you get a D4. And is that as a...
Yeah, so that's with the +1, so 17.
17.
And it is magical damage, so you get, hopefully, maybe the full? I don't know.
So did it hit?
Yeah, so, and she takes the full damage. She is resistant to non-magical attacks. But since that's considered magical, she takes the full damage.
Well, I'm going to see how she deals with necrotic.
All right.
So an extra 6 points of necrotic damage.
He is not resistant to that. All right. Ayla, it is your turn.
Okay, she will stay where she is, but cast Moonbeam right there.
What's your DC?
14. Don't know why it's not showing up there.
So it's at the start of her turn. 'Cause it says,
Yeah, when the creature enters the spell's area or starts its turn there.
doing. Six.
Nice.
9 points of damage. All right, so it is the other creature's turn, and it is going to take some damage. Wow, it dies too. I rolled almost max damage on her Cloud of Daggers. Oh, actually, I need to roll concentration on her Cloud of Daggers too. Give me a second.
Also, maybe he's not dead.
Yeah, so it needs to be a 10.
Well, technically it's because she hasn't done it yet. I was just doing it in advance because it's not actually her turn yet, so he would still die. She has to take that 9 on her next turn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, plus I hit her for 17, so she'd have to make a DC 10 for that.
Yeah, I did it on that one. She passed that one. What am I doing here?
Oop, did not mean to click that.
All right, so that one's dead, and it is her turn, so she takes 9 points damage, and now it is her turn. Okay. Let's see. All right. So she continues just to kind of giggle and laugh in a very disturbing way, and she's quite infatuated with you, Eve, at this point because she's amazed that you would return here. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
11.
All right.
You've got the bless.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
D4.
got bless. Hold on. That's an E, that's not a D. Jesus Christ. 13. Don't think that's gonna help.
It does not. So she, you can feel this. It's almost like there's something that's entering your mind, and you feel it. It's almost like somebody just took a dagger and just like stabbed it into the top of your head, and you take 18 points of psychic damage.
Fuck! Okay. She's nearly dead.
She just cast Mind Spike.
Can I cast Hellish Rebuke on that, or do I have to be closer? I can't see because my sheet is fucking.
I think
bugging
Hellish
out.
Rebuke is on melee attacks.
I can't check.
think.
I can't even check because my sheet is bugging out. It's not showing me anything.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take a look. Hold on.
It's a 60-foot range.
You're within 60 feet, I believe. So
I will cast Hellish Rebuke as reaction then.
okay.
What kind of save do I need? Fucking hell. 3.
Dex save. Which I rolled a natural 1, so
She takes 3 damage.
take 3 damage.
There's like a tiny icy squeak that escapes her lips.
You, like, point your finger back at her, like as you're still reeling from that. But it's your turn as well, so.
So as I'm holding up my finger and the sort of little spark of Hellish Rebuke comes out, her eyes sort of glow, and again she casts. Hold on, a large reduce. I could make her tiny. Oh, that'd be nice, but no, I won't do that. Another ray of bolt, another firebolt. Fucking hell.
You have a D4.
I used it already.
You have Bless is for a minute.
Oh.
I mean, you're gonna hit. It doesn't matter if you roll her AC 17. So even if you roll a 1, it hits her.
Yeah, but it's a fucking 1 though.
It is a 1, but hey, it's better than nothing.
She's sort of stammering back, and she sort of like steps back a little, but she can't step back because she's right against the wall. But she's like got her back against the wall, holding onto it slightly as she holds her head with the other hand.
All right, Denard, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna look back because I heard like a shout of pain from behind. And I'll see that Ayla's there, and she was saying she could heal and stuff as well. So I'm going to run in here, take whatever damage I take from the blades.
Yeah. 6 slashing
Okay.
damage.
All right. And how much damage have you taken so far, Rue?
I have taken just under
About a third.
half, yeah.
Okay. So I will reach my hand out, touch him, and cast Cure Wounds on him. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna Cure Wounds on him. You heal back up 6 points, and I am just ready for the next round now.
All right, Rue, it is your turn.
Do I take dagger damage?
You do. You take 7 points.
Sweet. Then I will attempt to strike the hag once more. And Bless will take that over, so it's not going to really...
Actually, real quick, just because I did just get hit. All right, there. I would have kept it up anyway.
Yeah, so if I rolled Bless, I'm going to hit anyway.
Yep. You don't...
And I will use my last slot for a Lightless Smite.
Ooh.
All right. 11 more points of damage.
So yeah, 20 total in one attack, not too bad.
Not too bad for a level 3, for sure.
And that's me.
All right. Ayla, you were up.
Okie doke. She will turn around and cast Cure Wounds.
Yes, I'll just make sure I keep
Here-
Shield of Faith up.
okay.
Oh, and she failed her concentration, so her daggers are gone.
Ooh, nice.
Whoops, I had it on self for some reason. Let me try that again. There we go.
Right.
And that is all she does.
All right, it is her turn. And
So
having
should I
just been,
redo? Uh,
oh yeah, and they take, is it half damage if I succeed?
yeah.
Mhm. So she does 20, so she takes 3. All right. Seeing these two little people in front of her, she's going to attempt to, first off, claw at you, Rue, and miss you wildly. She's angry, and then she's going to attempt to bite the dwarf. 15.
18?
Nope, she
18.
misses both of you. All
If
right.
I didn't have armor, I would be so terrible. But since I can wear heavy, I'm decent.
Eve, it is your turn.
I have. Did Alia heal me?
Yes, she
Yeah.
did. So you have 7 points.
What the fuck happened to my brain in those moments? I think I just completely blanked the last 30 seconds. Alright, Eva's just gonna. You know, she's gonna keep doing what she do. Hands gonna go up. Little tiny fireball's gonna go pew.
All right.
She's currently a one-trick pony.
Basically playing a warlock right now.
I mean, I could do cut ray of frost, which will slow her down, but a bolt has more damage.
All right. 5 points of damage. Make sure you, oh, you did bump yourself up. Okay, Denard, it is your turn.
All right. With my, if I look at the halfling, how hurt are you? Are you looking decent?
Can you see the red bar?
No, I cannot.
No, because the point is that you guys don't know exactly what.
Yeah, I
because
don't.
Just realistically, you don't know, like, oh, how many hit points do you have?
Yeah, I don't want to say how much I've got because it is a bit metagame in that. He looks.
He's looking pretty
Decent,
hurt. I
yeah.
mean, not like deathly ill, but he.
Okay. Well, everyone else seems to be doing decent damage, so I'm not going to worry about that so much. So I will. I'm going to. Can I move 1, 2, and can I go over here to flank this thing?
If you go there, you're going to get hit by the moonbeam.
Oh,
That's where the moonbeam pretty much is.
okay. Well, that wouldn't be flanking. So I'll just
Yeah,
stay where I
the
am.
moonbeam is it's 5 feet radius.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So yeah, I'll stay here then. I will just go ahead and cast Cure Wounds actually at level 2 onto Rue. So you'll heal up 12.
He looks good as new.
All right. And that will be my turn.
All right, Rue, it is your turn.
I will continue to try and turn this hag into a pincushion.
D4.
Which is, again, you'll hit with a 16.
What the hell is going on with 16?
So yeah, just another 7 points of damage.
Okay. Ayla, it is your turn.
Okay. Does Denard look any hurt at all?
No, he's fine. Like
Okay.
he's a little bit bloody, but nothing to worry about.
Okay, so she will just ray of frost it.
Holy shit.
Double nats.
Double crit.
Why can't you roll like that last week, Matt, for us?
He did, just against us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Give me just a second here.
Yeah, Denard probably looks like he's closer to dying of old age than of damage.
You know what?
Now I'm missing
I'm
Alma.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do. I put together a few tables. So go ahead and roll a D100 because of that. That particularly with the double crit. All right. So, and what type of damage is this? Is it? It's
Cold.
Cold. All right. So, I put together. I grabbed these crit tables. I have them for me, and I also have them for you. They're different for the GM and the players. So, with your 23 on your crit roll of the D100, what this was, it was a terrifying display of your Ray of Frost, which actually does quadruple damage. And all enemies that can see you must make a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, they're frightened of you for 2d4 plus 2 rounds. However, with quadruple damage of your terrifying display, you actually kill her.
Oh wow. She
Okay.
kind of, Isla
Just
kind of like looks at the others and is like, well, that wasn't too hard. I'm not entirely sure what happened before.
Eva's is looking at her hand where she was casting these tiny little fireballs at her, and she just looks at the person who's been protecting her like, what the fuck are you?
I mean, basically, with that Ray of Frost, you basically just turn her into ice, and she just crumbled into pieces.
I mean, why couldn't you do this
Awesome.
last week, Terra?
I'm sorry, but you guys were lacking as well.
All right. So this stuff is dead down here.
Everything is dead down here.
All right. So Denver's gonna look at everyone and say, "Oh, you. Where were they all?"
She's gonna come in and she's gonna look around. Well, we were in here. Is there like any dried blood on the ground? Like,
Well, didn't you come down these stairs? Like, I think the stairs goes up to where the children were.
I know, but this is where everyone like went down.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm looking for like dried blood stains and shit.
I mean, you see all kinds of disgusting stuff down here.
All right, she's gonna say they should be upstairs, and she's gonna start booking it.
You get an old man run behind you.
Like she doesn't even wait for you guys. She's like 10 feet ahead of you guys, just running.
I've got little legs.
25. The dwarf and the halfling there, they're tiny. All right.
Fucking 40 damage. Holy shit.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I just figured that the crit tables would be fun. I wanted to add a little if you crit, just add a little thing extra versus like, oh, you just do this. So, but like I said, I also have it for when I crit. So different tables though. Some of them are like maximum damage, so like just the maximum damage you could possibly do.
All right, and just so it's clear, everyone, Bless is gone now.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So when he gets up here, he's gonna look around. He's like, the children.
Isla's already running to these four because they're the first ones that she saw, and she'll just start. Is there one that looks more hurt than the others?
I mean,
Outwardly, Soren looks pretty bad because he has a disfiguring scar.
Yeah, then she'll run to
and
Soren
also,
first.
This dude looks like a skeleton almost. So
I'm gonna use my lay on hands 5 each for 3 of
She'll
them.
run to Soren, tend to his wounds, cast Cure Wounds on him.
or you guys should actually have still be able to control your character.
Yeah. Real quick, is this door closed over here where the children are, or is it open?
Yeah, it's
okay.
closed.
Is it locked?
Yes.
There we go. I fixed it.
Actually, from the outside, it's just barred, so you'd be able to.
Okay, yeah. I'll remove it and I'll open the door.
Okay.
I will look at them all. Are they alive?
They appear to be, yeah.
All right. I'm just going, hey, little ones, come. We're here to help. And I'll just lead them out to the rest of the group.
Eve has not gone near anyone. She's just standing there looking in horror.
I've just pumped 5 into 1,
I know
2.
she's away.
Into those 3.
All right. So everyone has been healed at least a little bit. Right.
And beyond magical healing, Isla would also, for flavor, like be bandaging wounds and pulling other herbs and putis and other such things from her bag.
Denner's gonna walk up to Eve and say, "Oi, which one is the one that was here longer than your friends?"
Oh fuck! Do I see it? It was this guy, right?
Yep.
Can I go over to him and like look him over to see if like it looks like he has any like infections or anything like that, or is he just looking run down and emaciated?
You could do a medicine check.
And Isla also casts Goodberry, and once they start waking up or whatever, we'll hand them out.
Just as because you're technically you magically healed, Bjorn, your internal wounds are cured as well. So the only person who has any lasting is actually Soren. Disfiguring scar. Lena's fine. She has minor scars that will eventually fade. And you notice that the half-naked elven man, or half-elven man, half-naked, half-elven man,
Double half.
appears to be poisoned.
All right. Just out of curiosity, as I'm going over him, do I find that symbol that we saw on him before?
Yep.
Okay. Do I recognize it?
Yes.
Right.
I'm not even gonna make a roll for it. You would recognize that
Right.
it is the symbol of Bahamut.
Okay. All right. Then just as I'm over him, is he like coherent? Is he awake?
He's awake, but he's in very bad shape.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead, real quick, and cast one more Cure Wounds on him, just to help him up a little bit, and then I'll just say, "Oh, men of the faith like me, let me see what I can do," and I'm gonna cast Lesser Restoration on him to try to get rid of the poison.
Okay. Yep. That works.
Yeah, and then I'll like look around and I'll just say, "There's 3 children here. Guessing, does anyone know what happened to the other 2?"
The other 2 were the ones that the witch was doing something to when we arrived. Then she says the rest over the mind link thing, basically saying, "I don't think they survived. I don't want to say this in front of the children."
All right.
Do a Eve, since you're relatively close, and Denard, I'll say you guys can as well. Both of you do a perception check, I guess.
I'm the least
3.
perceptive cleric in the world.
I'm worse currently.
I like that you both rolled 12s, and then together you rolled a 12.
So that's a triple
Wow.
crit, actually. So what's that get us?
What's that get you? But it's not a particularly difficult. So if you'll recall, over here, there was this is where the other hag had been preparing food and stuff, and you notice a few body parts, small body parts,
Additions.
sitting on a table.
I'm gonna go over to him and start collecting whatever parts I can find that I could tell are like humanoid child sized.
Yeah, there are a couple of hands and then some
Okay.
ears as well.
All right.
He
And
was
he'll
not
just-
looking.
He'll just kind of over the mind thing. That lasted 10 minutes, right? So it's still going.
Correct.
So, all right. So he'll just say, I can. If we bring him back to the village, I can perform a ceremony tomorrow after I get a bit of sleep. Get him buried proper.
And Lena will move towards Eve and be like, Lena, are you okay?
Lena asked that?
Yep,
Lena
I
asked-
accidentally did the wrong accent there. Whoops.
No, you said, Lena, are you okay?
Oh, okay. I messed
Yeah,
that
so
up
just
entirely.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah, I was like, are you role playing with yourself?
Yeah.
And I just sort of, Eve
What?
just sort of,
Hello, Lena. I'm Isla.
too many words. No, too many characters in one. Eve's just looking at the ground, and you can see she's actually shaking because she's trying not to cry.
Lena will kind of stumble over to her because she's still pretty hurt. And is it okay if I, give you a hug or
She
something?
just before you even finish that sentence, she's fucking hugging you. And she's just like, she's immediately saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have run, I'm sorry.
No. No, it was good that you ran. You got help. See? And she gestures towards everybody else.
She gives a little nod, but she is still sobbing.
You kind of just look at an old dwarf picking up bones and putting them in a bag.
I have to say, I was in another campaign where we had slightly messed up characters, and we actually had a dwarf that had carried around a little cauldron that was full of noses and ears. So that's probably not the weirdest sight I've seen in D&D. I've had some weird characters, or I've seen some very weird characters.
So, Matt, what time was it arrived at this cave?
That's probably in the afternoon.
Okay, so it wouldn't be nighttime right now. We could get back to the village before it was nightfall.
Probably, yeah. Also, I'm not this is slightly off topic, but as we're discussing time, made me think of it. I'm not keeping track of it like I did in our other campaign, but we will use the Forgotten Realms calendar. Okay. So there is 12 months. Each week is actually 10 days. There's still 365 days in a year, but each week is 10 days, and then there's 4 days that get added randomly. But if you want to look that up, I can post it later in Discord. But that's the calendar that we'll use just for the ease of it.
Sounds good.
And since again, we're taking inspiration from the Forgotten Realms. It's not actually taking place there, but.
So are any of these people are they all chained up?
Yeah, everybody was chained to the wall, but
okay.
it's easy enough to get them off. It's easy enough to get.
Lena had really long chains.
Giving hugs with the chains. Yeah, no, good stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Danner's gonna. Maybe get out of here while it's still light. Get back to the village.
Yeah. She's looking at the other two, just are they angry at me?
I mean, Bjorn is kind of just sitting there. He's kind of looking around, taking it all in. Well, yeah. So the dwarf will go up to the children and be like, the little ones, you're good to walk."
They'll kind of nod, but you can tell that they're not in good shape.
Right. Hey, we'll get you back home as quick as we can. And Bjorn will stand up and walk over to Sorn and kind of just offer a hand to help him up.
I think Sorn will take a bit of help at the moment.
Uber robot.
Yeah.
Uber
Alright, what'd you
robot.
say? He would offer the hand and just kind of look at his. Is his scar on his face?
It would need to be just because of the fact that he gets the bonuses to intimidation, so people would need to see it.
So yeah, as he's going to help you up, he kind of just, or Bjorn kind of just, starting to look a bit like me, and he kind of just points to his scars.
Yes, but not through choice.
And the half elf, he introduces himself as Johann. He also looks at you, Bjorn, and asks if you know the way back to the village.
Bjorn kind of just, yes. Came from village. I don't know how long we've been here, but yes.
And can you carry the kids?
Yes, I can.
So he goes over to you and he tells you to hurry, and he reaches out and he casts haste on you.
All right.
So that you can get
Bjorn
back
kind
to
of just looks at everyone and he goes, I see you back at village? And he just runs, picks all three of them up and starts running.
See
Can I-
you. Good luck.
Do
Lena
I
said.
have like the chance to cast enlarge on you as you run out the door?
That's up to you or Matt. Like, as soon as this happened, he just said, I'll see you all. He ran, scooped them all up, and he was running.
And then
Like-
we'll say that before we did that you explained how to get to the doors, because technically I forgot Bjorn. I didn't know where the
Oh,
front
yeah, true.
entrance is, but
She's
we'll
like
say
the-
that you were told pretty easy.
Yeah,
to
she's
get to.
like they're just downstairs. Oh, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to cast enlarge as he's trying to get through the door and not be
Oh
able to
yeah,
fit.
point
Mm.
taken. I keep forgetting.
I get huge, and then all of a sudden I ram the children's heads into the door.
Yes, it just smashes their heads and like little watermelons against the
No!
top of the cave wall. Yeah.
Elena just walks away very sad, like fuck's sake.
All right,
But
so
yeah, after Bjorn leaves, Dennard's gonna walk up to the half elf and go, Bahamut, right?
he nods.
He goes, I haven't been in this land long, but haven't met anyone else who follows the gods.
You won't find many, at least not those that would be willing to let anyone see it. And he sort of looks down at his tattoo and kind of puts his hand over it.
Dennard looks and he puts his hand on his chest too, where his symbol was. He goes, are you from this village here?
No, I'm not from this island.
Seems like we have a bit more in common than I would have believed.
Arla's just giving the side eye to the half elf Johann.
Right. He's gonna look towards Lena and Soren and say, "Oi, either of you need any help getting back up to be able to get to the village?"
I'm sure.
Oh,
can
I
make
should
it.
be okay. Give the healing to Soren.
All right. All right. In that case, he'll look and he'll just say, "Well, I don't got much left, so perhaps I just will be saving it in case something occurs on the travel back."
And Johann goes over and he starts moving stuff around, and he waves everybody over. Bjorn didn't have a whole lot, but
He kind of had a waist pack in his maul. That was it.
yeah. So I mean, like he this is where he just waves everybody over to. This is where all your gear would be. So like you guys could grab like Bjorn's weapon and stuff for him. And Johann finally gets to put some clothes on. So
Oh, what a shame.
yeah, I mean, like that's the one thing that you guys, if you're interested in that kind of thing, Johann's actually a pretty good looking guy for looking as weak. And
Now we know why she was side eyeing him.
right. He's a very interesting looking, because you don't even for half elves, you
The
don't
beard.
often see elves with beards. Yeah, so
Right.
Eva's sort of staying, like, even after the thing with Lena, she's staying slightly disjointed from the rest of the party.
and Soren, we need to find a way to put a big scar on your token too.
I have an
Get
idea
some
for that.
Photoshop and draw a big scar on your face.
I was thinking about using a different token.
Well, because that's the dude from Dragon Age, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to replace it for another dude with white hair but with a mask.
Nice. That would work. All right. So, if there's anything that you guys wanted to do here, if you wanted to like search around or anything like that, you can.
I would have wanted to search through the little things in the body downstairs just because I'm always searching for like scrap metal and that kind of stuff. So I would have definitely searched the bodies down there.
Right.
Want me to do investigation?
Yep.
Could Rue help? Well, I'm not helping that.
Yeah, I mean, you can all roll separately if you want.
What the fuck? Are you good at everything?
Do you want me to roll for Sorn as well?
Yeah.
I'll just bring up his character sheet. With a +5.
I mean, I'm gonna be. Man, the music stopped for me again.
Mine too. I'm gonna say Isla just crosses her arms and watches them run about to go investigate what they're investigating, and Lena's just sticking with Eve.
The sad one.
For this campaign, I'm gonna be a little bit lenient as far as investigation when you're searching, like just for. I mean, I kind of dislike the idea of like not being able to find things. That's just weird. Unless it's like specifically hidden, you should be able to find it.
Like a hidden pocket or a hidden compartment.
Right. So if you're just looking for stuff that isn't that I'm not specifically saying is, hidden, then I'm just gonna let you guys have it because it's just kind of goofy the way that the rules are written. So as you're going through, looking through all the different layers and everything, you actually don't find a whole lot. You do find some interesting, like ingredients for like alchemy. Whether or not you guys know exactly what it would be for is up for grabs, and whether you find it interesting enough to take with you. But you do find some ingredients. You obviously find a lot of jars of ingredients that hags use, again, like lips and ears and eyeballs, which is a little gross. You find a grand total of 25 gold pieces scattered throughout, like some of the like tattered clothes and things that have been left. The only other thing that you find, which is actually something that Tara's character had in the last campaign, you find the cape of the Mountback.
Oh.
Ooh.
All right. Dimension door on demand.
Exactly.
Yep. Although I guess it was once per day or something.
Yeah. So for anybody that I can add it to your loot in the game here.
Quick question. The alchemy ingredients, how do they smell? Do they smell like herbs and stuff like that?
I mean, some of them do. Some of them, they're alchemical, so like some of them seem like they would be, like you find like herbs and certain liquids, like you find like honey and stuff like that. But then you also find a few things that are less savory that you would guess are probably more related to like making poisons and things like that.
Well, since Ayla had said that she does nature stuff when I asked her, I'll grab like especially the good smelling ones, but then I'll try to just like gather up whatever else I can and bring them to her, and I'll just I think I found some stuff that might be good for cooking, or I don't know what these are for, and I'll just show them to her.
Very interesting, and she'll look through them and see if she can identify them. And keep the ones that are useful and kind of just like toss away the ones that aren't to her.
Yeah, I mean, you find a fair amount of stuff that Seems useful.
If she throws away any of the stuff that smells good, I'm gonna pick it back up.
All right. So let me know. Do you now see that like under magic items in your?
In the journals?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just throwing this out there. Bjorn as a magician is kind of badass.
Yeah, I had it last campaign, so if anybody else wants to use
Whoever
it,
it
go
works
ahead.
for. Whoever it works for.
But again, let's remember that this is a magical item. So if you're wearing it around or carrying it with you, there are people that would see it.
I got a quick question. If we were like, do you have to have it on you to stay attuned? Like, because I'm assuming you could take it off when you go to sleep and stuff, right? So like, if we did find a way to conceal like magical items, whether it be in like a box or if we got a bag, something else, like, would we be able to stay attuned to it even if we weren't wearing it at all times?
The description does not specifically state that it must be attuned.
Oh, that doesn't have to be attuned?
Believe it or not, it does not. According to the
Wow.
description.
Okay.
Let me
All right.
let me double check the DMG. Just roll 20 doesn't say it, but let me double check.
And I mean, detection from magic is not a huge issue at later levels with the spell non-detection.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but here's the trick of that, and actually I discussed this with Eve about something else. As far as the Mordoon are concerned, using magic to hide magic doesn't work for them because you're still using magic to hide magic, and they will see that you're using magic to hide magic because it's still magic. So you can't. That doesn't work on them.
But yeah, so my question was like, I mean, do you always have to be wearing it, or if you knew you were going into town, can you take it off and hide it conceal it somehow if you figure out a way, and still be attuned to it when you put it back on?
If it requires attunement, I would say you probably could not do that.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. Attunement. It is. It does not require attunement. Nope, it does not.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about like, I mean, if you got like magical plate armor that required attunement, I didn't think it would unattune whenever you took it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime that you remove it,
Okay.
because the attunement is it being like part of you essentially.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I haven't decided yet, but we'll figure out because I know that Mercer made the rule, though this is one that as far as I know, this is one he made up. But like the idea of like having like lead line boxes to hide magic, because they did that for the orb that they had. But I don't think that's actually technically a rule. I think that's one that he just added. So
I think there's one that, because there's a spell that's like, I think detect magic is something like if it's on the different side of this much lead, it can't be found. I think that's the only reason he did it like that.
might have been.
But yeah, so then I guess we will all head back to the village, to Skytop.
Mhm.
Yeah, when the spell penetrates most barriers but is blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. So I think that's why he said the lead.
Yeah. But essentially, again, the Mordoon are the exception. Like anybody else, they're not going to be fooled by magic hiding magic. But they may not be able to see it if they're far enough away from, whatever you might be trying to hide it in.
Okay, gotcha.
They are magic detectors.
Indeed. All right, so we're going to head back. I'm going to move you back to the map here. So you guys are heading back to Skytop?
Yep.
All right, so let's take a quick break. I'm going to go grab a drink, and then we will go over what we're going to do with Skytop.
Sounds good.
I've got to decide what I do with Eve.
Are you thinking of dropping her or creating someone new?
No, I'm not thinking of dropping her. I'm thinking of how, like, mentally and emotionally she's reacting to seeing that you're all alive. Because she didn't have much hope that you guys seeing how powerful that witch was. She was terrified. That's why she was basically bursted into life alive still.
Yeah, so I don't know if you watch anime, but I'm probably going to be giving him like the Kaneki face from Tokyo Ghoul.
I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul.
That's perfectly fine.
I am currently. I have actually got a Crunchyroll Premium subscription, so I am a bit of an anime nut. Perhaps that should be on my queue. I have watched The Shield Hero. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Shield Hero's pretty good.
The I Was Reborn as a Slime is also very adorable.
It is. I think the new season of Danmachi's starting this month as well.
Overlord is something I've recently been binging, and I'm already on the 3rd season.
Have you guys watched Is It Okay to Pick Up a Girls in a Dungeon?
Yeah,
That's on my list.
Yeah, that's Danmachi.
Okay, because the second season coming out like next
next week or
yeah,
something.
like
Yeah,
see, that's the thing that killed. Like I on Crunchyroll it's like the 12th I think, but I went in watching like expecting it to be just a bunch of fan service and being stupid. It's actually really good. The first season.
Did you see the movie?
It's on my list of things to watch. I love that kind of anime.
It's very Dungeons and Dragons. It's very very Dungeons and Dragons.
Anything to give me that Dungeons and Dragons kind of.
Because it's like this
my-
idea that they're like levels. Like you go. It's kind of, in that way it's similar to Goblin Slayer in that like they go and they like I'm a level this or I'm a level that, and like so they're like kind of a video game / D&D sort of like going into caves and leveling yourself up.
Just like Shield Hero.
Yeah, it's really cool. I haven't watched Shield Hero, but Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeon? It was one I was very surprised. But yeah, Danmachi is the
I'm
easier
back.
name to say.
I probably should have left when everyone else was left to grab like a snack or something, but I'm just like in my bed.
Go for it. Sarah's not back yet.
It is probably about 92 degrees outside right now, so I'm kind of just sitting in the air conditioning.
I'm
still sweating.
I want to turn my fan on because it's still really hot in my room, but I don't want the noise. I don't want to piss you guys off, especially because my internet's been fucky recently. Actually, just tonight it's been fucky.
With mine, I kind of just I have a headset where every time I flip my mouthpiece up, like my mic up, it just mutes itself, so it's not too bad with the fans.
Excuse me, yawning.
All right.
I'm looking at my snacks, very tempted.
Yeah, go. Get it.
They're on the other side of the room, though.
That's fine. Like I said, Tara's
I'm
not
that
back.
late.
All I just when I got up, all I did was refill my water bottle with ice water, and I got a Gatorade.
I got some bubbly sparkling water.
I got some sparkling berry water, and across the side of the room there's a bag of popcorn I saved for D&D.
I tried bubbly once, and it was like, I don't know why. It just, to me, all it does is it tastes like seltzer with like a drop of flavoring.
Oh yeah, it's very very minimal. The orange is okay though. My biggest thing is that I'm just really I prefer drinks that have carbonation. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason I get it.
I'm not I'll drink soda if I go out to eat or if like I'm having it with a meal. Other than that, I drink water like Gatorade.
I mean, I'm big on drinking soda, but I try to like not drink so much of it, and because I drink Coke Zero like constantly, so I'm just like I need something else to.
Yeah, same. But
Drink, so.
I've managed to get it down to water throughout the day, and at night some Coke Zero.
Yeah, so like that, for me, it's mainly about the carbonation and also I'm like I need the caffeine because otherwise I get a terrible headache. But
See, I'm the opposite. If I have caffeine, I get shaky as hell when I have headaches.
man, I drink way too much caffeine as well. But so what do you guys want to do? I don't know if you guys would necessarily know this specifically. But the kids that died, one of them you wouldn't have you I don't think you even met or talked to the parents of one of them. The issue is this, right? So there was a boy and a girl um that were killed by when she was doing her ritual. One of them was actually the daughter of the two women at the end. So you did meet them, but she was one of the ones that was in the chamber. So she died.
Okay.
And also, there were a brother and sister. Um, you saved the sister, the brother died.
Well,
But you did not meet their parents.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Bjorn is taking the kids by himself, so he's probably just running to the dwarf's house.
Yeah.
That's the one he was most familiar with. He's going straight there.
So by the time the rest of you get there, pretty much everybody would probably have been, would have gone to the dwarf's house, and gotten their kids, and most likely would have taken them back to their homes. Like they wouldn't have just like hung out waiting for you, the rest of you, to return. So I will say that as you guys return, I'm assuming you would probably all return to Caden's house, the dwarf. Bjorn may be standing outside, but the kids would have all been grabbed up by their families and.
Yeah, Bjorn would have apologized to the dwarf and everyone for not being able to do it themselves, and explain how there are more people coming back. And then he would have just, after he apologized, he would have just gone and stood outside. But the entire way back, Dennard is like grilling this half elf about where he's from and what brought him here and stuff, and explaining how he wanted to come here and find out why religion was such a taboo and all that stuff.
Eve is. Ooh.
Yeah, basically, he would have explained that, and assuming that the Denard wouldn't know about this, that he explains that he is as a paladin of Bahamut and that he has taken the oath of vengeance, which is essentially the tenets of that oath is to fight the greater evil, no mercy for the wicked, essentially by any means necessary, and he and restitution. So he believes that beings that have caused harm in the world, it's because he failed to stop them from doing so. So he wants to help those that have been harmed by their own misdeeds. But the main thing is that his main thing is fight the greater evil. So he always chooses to go after what he views as the greatest evil, and he came here believing that, like many religious people do, that people who don't believe in religion often can find their way to evil things, and he had heard rumors of terrible things happening on the island, so he was here to do what he could to stop that.
All right. That all sounds very interesting and kind of similar to Denard, who came here to try to bring religion back to a godless land.
And Isla would have been like, scoff and say, "Of course you believe that."
Eve this entire time has been sort of like with Lena, and like she's been sneaking glances at Sorn, but she's very like skittish at the moment, very nervous, incredibly guilty.
And Lena would try to be comforting her.
And for those of you that would listen, and probably none of you except maybe Denard would be somewhat interested in hearing it, but he's probably somewhat familiar with it, is that not like he's not preaching, but he is talking about how great Bahamut is.
Mhm.
You know, like all of the things that he does, that he's the god of justice, and you know all that stuff.
Oh, he would get it right back about, how great Gond is with, having created the tools that man has used to build the empires and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Johan would be very interested as well. So the two of them can just be talking about how great their gods are, I guess.
If Eve heard him saying anything about justice, she would have just scoffed and said, "Should have stayed back at Rabis Nevis." It's just sort of like look down. Rowan Sorn being the quiet boys.
Well,
Some
especially
meaty,
while the
edgelords over there.
yeah, especially while the
Edgelord.
God Squad is
I was literally
having
thinking
a
that.
meet.
All right. Up, roboting there, Robert.
Robot node.
Yeah, the internet's been stupid tonight. Just keep going if I don't talk.
All right. So you guys can you guys make your way back. So you guys can meet up with Bjorn.
When everyone comes back, Bjorn, like he as they're approaching, he'll just, hey, children have gone home. And he kind of looks to everyone and he just nods and he says, hey, thank you for help. And he walks up to Eve and picks her up and gives her a big hug.
She just goes really tense in his grasp, and then she tries to give him another hug. She can have like, wait, what race was he again?
Human.
Oh, he was a human. I thought he was a Goliath for some reason.
He's a Goliath of a human. He's 6'7" as a human, but yeah, he's
Yeah, she struggles trying to get her arms around him, and then just goes for having the arms around the neck. Just gives him a hug. She's, I'm so glad you're all safe.
yes, not for much longer, but it was good that you came.
I wasn't just gonna leave you there.
Of course not. I tried to break chains, but they kept us very weak.
So, and as you guys are talking, Meryl, who is Caden's wife, the dwarven woman, she invites you all to come in. She apologizes to the newcomers, but she thanks Bjorn and Lena and Soren and Eve, and she in thanks she was working on things for you guys. So as the reward for doing what you could and helping and obviously putting yourselves through a lot, Caden is a blacksmith, Meryl is a silversmith, so she hands each of you a weapon, except for Lena, you actually don't get a weapon, but you get something else, so hold on to that thought.
No weapon to you.
Sorn, she gives you a silver sword. So here's the thing. So these are silvered weapons, but they're not magical weapons in that you don't get a +1. So what they do though is that, like, so if you were fighting the hag again, you would get full damage because it counts as a magical weapon, but you don't get the +1 to attack
Okay.
and +1 to damage.
So it turns it into like magical damage.
Exactly. So
Okay. Sweet.
Soren gets a silver sword. It can. I'll let you decide whether you want it to be like a rapier or whatever it may be.
Cool
But
stuff.
Eve, she hands you a silver dagger. And these are all, again, remember, these are artisans. I mean, these are the most beautiful weapons that you've ever seen. I mean, they're extremely well made. Like they have really nice filigree inlaid designs on the blades and on the Bjorn. You get a very nice. I mean, the handle's not metal. The handles is a very sturdy, like oak, but it is a nice big silver hammerhead on the top for like a two-handed mace.
Right.
Again, each side of it has this very nice design in there. Probably like Bjorn may not really appreciate it. It like kind of just looks fancy for no reason, but it's a very nice looking mace. So Lena, she offers you a pouch of 30 silver bullets. And Caden also offers to take a look at your pistol, and he does a thorough cleaning and basically just making sure that it is working properly. So the next time that you would have a misfire, it doesn't misfire.
Yeah, she thanks them so much. Super happy, and she cocks and uncocks the pistol.
Yeah, I mean it's like smoother, like it's like better than when you first got it. I mean it's working perfectly. So I don't know how you want to mark that down, but next time you roll a 1 where it would misfire, it actually won't. You'll just get
Okay.
Question, Matt. Could I exchange the silvered sword for a modified handle? I'll sort that out later on, but
Are we allowed to edit what weapons we get?
no,
No,
it's not a weapon.
Are we allowed to swap what weapon we get? Because quarterstaff.
no, you get a dagger.
Damn it.
Because they don't. I mean, you wouldn't. A quarterstaff very, very, very rarely would ever be made out of metal.
I know, but it would be cool.
It would be cool, but
Yeah, I'll have to keep trying.
Yeah, someone would ask for a metal handle of a blade, for which you can place a vial of oil in and some form of igniter.
I mean, they could probably make something like that for you.
Yeah, that's what I'd be asking for.
I mean, they're not going to give that to you.
No, it was going to ask for him to be commissioned anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that you guys want, like this is what they gave you. If you would like them to make something for you, you can certainly ask them to do so.
Just out of question, did Eve mention wanting a metal quarterstaff?
No, she has not mentioned that. That's kind of like a little offside wish of hers.
Okay. Then since she didn't mention anything, I would approach. Dennard would approach Soren and say, "Hey, you mind? Can you draw out real quick what you were describing? You just want the sword blade with a bit of compartments for liquid."
Yes, I will draw you a diagram.
If Eve hears you offering to build stuff, she will go over and say, "How heavy would a metal quarterstaff be?"
Probably at least double what the wood would be, maybe 8 pounds.
I could probably hold that. How easy would you think it would be to make one?
Give me, and he's gonna look at you again, Soren. He's gonna say, I think I can make what you're asking, but I don't know if I can make the ignition part.
Well, it's primarily just for show, but if you can't do the ignition, it's not an issue.
Right. Well, then you draw that up tonight, and I could get yours tomorrow. And he's gonna look to Eve and say, "I give me a bit of time, and I can have yours done in, give me an hour."
Actually, what is your strength, Eve?
Fuck yeah. Oh, I think I've got a minus a strength.
Because I actually looked this up because people have asked this question before. A metal staff would weigh 6 times what a wooden staff would be.
I have 8
So
strength.
12 pounds.
No, because the average.
Oh, 4
weight-
pounds. So yeah.
Yeah, the average is 4 pounds. So you're looking at a 24-pound. And with an 8
Fuck.
strength, you probably could not.
Yeah, I
swing
can't.
that.
All right. Well, just out of curiosity, Matt, because I'm planning on doing it with that, can I make it out of a very lightweight metal? It's not even like something I actually make. It kind of just coalesces into it with the metal that I choose.
I mean, like, she'd be happy with like a metal tip or like a silver tipped wooden staff.
I mean, that's like more like a halberd.
Let me see if I can find a picture.
Yeah, where did you get that image?
Yeah. So you want to make a lightsaber?
But not an actual lightsaber.
Yeah.
No, not petal covered. What the fuck?
So I'll say so. Matt, so it's a case of the shadow blade. It's the creating like the smoky shadow of a sword. So the idea was to have a prop that can put an oil in, and when it burns, it creates a black smoke. So if someone looks, oh look, it's not magic, it's just alchemy.
I can't find the picture. It was going to be a wooden quarterstaff, but like the top is not pointed or anything. It just has sort of like a glob of metal, which sort of like spirals around.
I kind of get what you're saying. All right, Matt, can I take the quarterstaff? Do you currently have a quarterstaff?
No, that's the issue.
Oh, shit. All right, well then, yeah, I just want to know if I can make it out of the lightest weight metal I possibly could. And if I could shave however many pounds off that you see fit.
I mean, probably. Mithril or adamantine is considered the lightest metal. But those are not going to be easy to come by.
Yeah. Right. Then yeah, he'll look at you and tell you, for that, if you're not holding a fully metal one, you'd probably be better off having it commissioned. I work mainly with just metal.
Oh, all right. I will.
I can make you one within the hour of. It'll be quite heavy, but I could have it done.
It's okay. I'll look around the town.
Right.
Thank you,
He'll.
though.
Then I will try to make his sword
Hilt.
handle with a ignition switch on it for like flint and tinder, I guess.
Yeah, like
Every
flint and
time
steel.
you guys say sword handle, I'm like, it's a hilt. Please call it a hilt.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want me to roll anything with it to try to make what he's describing, but yeah, I'm gonna try to make that for him with my artisan's blessing.
I don't know what did they use? What did Matt make?
Was that like a
Allison
tinkering
used?
check?
Yeah, he would do
Yeah.
tinkering with whatever. But I mean, I could do religion since I'm using my like divine or channel divinity to use it if you want.
I would say something based on dexterity.
Don't you say that about me. I have -2 to dexterity.
Maybe intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it in intelligence, and then
All right, I'm not
Hold
the
on.
smartest dwarf in the world, but
Hey.
Could Son have been helping
I
to
was gonna say.
describe it?
yeah, that's fine.
He would just kind of sit on the table. He would tell you, Matt, how much would it cost to make something a hilt?
Thank you.
Like 15, 20 gold?
Let me look.
I mean, a sword costs like 20 gold. A full sword.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, maybe like I would just tell you that you need to put down the gold that it would cost on the table in front of us.
If that's the case, so we'll put down just 25 gold just to cover it.
Okay. And he would like you would see him taking scraps of like random metal out of his pack and just like kind of laying it down in like a very like just it looks kind of unorganized at first, but then you start seeing like the outline of what you were asking for, and he'll start doing a ritual, and in the next hour it would be completed.
Are you doing this in the blacksmith shop? You're making weapons in their own shop?
They're dwarves, right?
Yeah.
And they're blacksmiths, so he would not think anything of doing. He's not making it. He's like, he's not like working on it. He's kind of just, it appears. It like the metal coalesces into it.
Right. So you're also casting magic in front of everybody.
Hey, I mean,
He's not a smart, as he said, he's not a smart dwarf.
no, he's not that dumb. If I look around here, do I see any sort of religious symbols?
You do not.
Okay, then yeah, I probably wouldn't do it in there. I would take him off to the side and say, "Oh, we can. You don't mind a bit of cold? We'll go outside for a few minutes, about an hour, and I'll go do it like in a back alleyway on like a freaking barrel or something."
If we've completed our mission, Eva's gonna ask if there's any fine jewelry smiths in the village.
Yeah, there are.
She's gonna ask for directions.
Yeah, I can tell you where it is. Was there anything that you were looking for?
She's gonna ask about a maker's mark that she has on a piece of jewelry. She wants to know where it's come from. Or if the maker's mark is recognizable, it's on the locket. I can DM you information.
Yeah, you can do that.
Did you say you do that, or they can do
I
that?
said, yes, you can do that. They can look at it. Whether they're not they're going to know what it is a different story. But
I'll just DM you the information about the locket.
okay. So the next question, before we do that, is there anything else that anybody wants to do in the Skytop?
The one thing Bjorn would do is go to. He would look to the dwarf and any we're good for ale, liquor around. Make themselves.
The horned owl, where you didn't save the daughter, they make their own.
Okay. He would go there and he would let me see what's on his sheet. Do they like have just kegs, like small kegs or big kegs of ale?
Pull up my list here.
Pretty much, he wants like if they have something like maybe that he could tie a rope around and wear it around his back for like a smaller keg of ale, and he just wants their strongest bottles of liquor.
So the strongest bottle of alcohol that they would sell would be 10 gold.
Okay.
To get an entire keg of you're going to get a keg of ale.
Yeah.
It's gonna be expensive.
Yep.
How drunk do we want to be getting?
What do you mean we? This is for him.
Wait, is Bjorn buying this?
Yeah.
Oh god. I know he's big, but Jesus, can he hold all that?
Well, he's not going to drink it all.
we're having a Grog moment where Grog was carrying around a cask of ale for like weeks.
I would say that a smaller keg would be about 80 gold.
Okay, so 90 would be all together. All right, he will put down 125 gold.
How much money do you have? Fucking hell.
He doesn't understand money, and he still has over 200 gold. So he's gonna put that down, and he's going to immediately uncap the liquor and just say, "I'm very sorry for loss. Wish we were faster." And he's gonna say, "To your lost one," and he's gonna take a swig of the liquor and offer it to either of them.
They do not accept.
Okay. All right. And then he will cork it back up, turn around, and go back to the dwarfs.
All right. So are you going to head back to Mr. Grayson? Again?
Can we get a lead box? Can we actually commission a lead box?
And if Eve wants to just go talk with maybe the silversmiths or...
Yeah, we can talk with the blacksmiths.
They might just have one laying around.
Just casual lead box.
Well, it depends on how big you want it to be.
Big enough for a cape?
So not particularly big then.
Like a shoebox size?
If we can fit the cape in, sure.
Probably need to be a little bit bigger than a shoebox. I don't think you can fit a cape in a shoebox, depending on how big your feet are. But
So what we're going to do is we're going to make one of the small people wear it first. We're going to give it to the halfling so it shrinks down.
This is right.
We're just going to need a lined box, really small.
That'll be about 5 gold pieces.
Yep, Sorn will pay for that.
And would Johan be coming with us to Testra, or is he gonna head off on his own?
Yep.
He's heading off on his own?
Well, yeah, because he would not be going to Testra.
If that's the case, then if he goes off like in a corner, Isla goes up to him and is like, "Could I just speak with you for a moment?"
Then she stabs him in the gut.
He
That
nods.
laugh was worrying me.
Yeah, he follows you if you want to go off to speak with him.
Yeah, so she goes off and she says, "You said you're from off the island, right?"
He nods.
"Are there any diseases out there that cause terrible coughing fits, leave you bedridden if you're not helped, terribly fatal and difficult to treat?"
He kind of looks at you a little, cocks his head a little bit. I mean, there are many diseases that, not that I don't know of anything specifically related to that.
And she just says, "All right, thank you," and leaves him.
Yeah, Denard would approach him as well and offer his assistance in ridding this place of evil and perhaps trying to bring religion back to it.
Isla hears that as she leaves and is like, glances back at them and is like, "What the hell?"
Johan, his intention is to go up to Stonefall.
Denard would have only have been like in the port city. Obviously, when he arrived, he probably would have stopped in the Dwarven city on the way to like Baranor, and then he would have probably stopped in Ornkaima and went straight to Testra. So he doesn't know where that is, so he says, well, if you with for a bit of company, I'm trying to gather as much information about what's happened here, the hatred of the gods. So I don't mind tagging along if you don't mind.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So, I guess we know that you'll be playing Bjorn now.
Yep.
So that's the
Good.
next question for Robert and Tara is that what would you like? Who would you like to continue playing? And I will give you the options, or at least one option here is that. I mean, I'm not going to make you make your whichever character you don't play. You don't have to make them go away. They could continue to, if you want, they could continue working with Mr. Grayson, just not necessarily with the rest of the group. Or you can have them do whatever you want. But that's an option. You don't. I'm not going to say you have to make them leave so that we never see them again, or run into them only if we end up going to Stonefall or whatever it may be.
I think I'll have Rue go with the God Squad.
Okay.
God Squad. Sorry. Had to be said.
Yes, the emo paladin goes with the paladin of Bahamut and a forge cleric.
Mm-hmm.
Should
Hey,
be.
they might be good for him. They might be good for him.
I doubt that.
Oh, he may end up killing them. I don't know what kind of a person he was.
I
Lena.
think I'm having more fun role playing Isla. So I think Lena can stick around because I do want to play Gunslinger. So she'll be close, but I'm leaning towards Isla.
Okay. So I mean, we can just, like I said, you can stay with stay in Tesla working with Mr. Grayson for the time being.
Yep, I guess that's what she essentially was doing before in Ornheim. She's supposed to be doing that in Tesla now.
All right. So before we actually leave, was there anything else that we wanted to do in Skytop before we head back to Grayson?
I mean, we could have confronted the
Yeah, I
that
want to go talk to the
family,
boy.
but we don't have
Yeah.
any.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I forgot to mention. They're gone.
I bet they fucking are.
Can we go investigate their house?
I mean, I don't know that the town would necessarily want you to be rooting around in their house, but
I mean, I say break in. We don't know exactly what was going on with that family. I say we break in.
Do the dwarves know anything about it? Like when they left, why they left, anything?
Pretty much the day after the original group did not return, they packed up and left without saying anything to anybody. And as far as Caden is concerned, he would essentially
Good riddance.
Yeah.
No, I mean Bjorn would be drinking. He has no desire to go look in a house. He just almost died. He wants to get drunk.
Lena would be with Bjorn, and Isla would not join in your shenanigans.
I love how we went from having Lena to like the anti-Lena.
I mean, she's at least gonna go poke in the windows to see if they've left anything behind out of curiosity.
I mean, you see that obviously they left, the majority of their furniture, and you can see that stuff is strewn about. You can see it looks like they were in a hurry.
That makes her want to go inside even more. She's gonna look for any open windows, any unlocked doors. She's trying to be sneaky.
What's Soren doing at this point?
Son will be probably drinking with Bjorn. But if someone was to ask, he does have thieves' tools.
So y'all getting drunk or leaving the poor defenseless with sorcerer to go mischief.
Oh, you didn't say anything to any of us.
She would have mentioned it. She would have said,
Oh.
"Hey, does anyone want to come check out the house with me?" Because I have a suspicion that maybe they've left something behind that might give us some clues as to what the hell was up with that boy.
Alina's already drunk.
And there are no. I mean, the windows are the windows and doors are locked.
I need the man with the thieves' tools.
I mean,
If
if you want help, I can certainly help.
If you guys really don't want to, then just allow me to go to the jewelry merchant, look around, ask a few questions, and then we can go. If y'all really don't want to stay here.
We stay till tomorrow morning and perhaps make travel back down mountain easier.
Okay.
We can wake up early and check out the store before everyone, or the house before everyone else is awake.
That sounds good.
Right.
Hmm.
And with that said, he offers you also a bit of ale, and he looks over to all of the other people and offers everyone, all the new people, ale as well.
And Lena says, "It's very good."
She sort of smells it, and you see her face just crumple up, like.
He pulls out a bottle of liquor, then he goes, "This instead."
She nods rapidly.
Yes, here. And I mean, Matt, I have no idea what this extremely strong liquor tastes like, but he's handing it to her.
She's handing it to her like a tiny little. So fucking hell, she's gonna get smashed. She's gonna pour a large tumbler and just take a large fucking swig.
It's pretty good.
Does it burn?
Yeah, it burns, but it's not moonshine or anything. I mean, this is very well made. It's quite good.
Moonshine's good. I
Well,
enjoy
mean,
it.
But I'm saying it doesn't burn like moonshine. I mean,
Okay, gotcha.
It's not like 60% alcohol or anything.
Yeah.
Not that I would know. I can't drink alcohol in real life.
Yeah, so he would also offer to the two dwarves that were making stuff, like the family, and to the halfling, whoever, I don't know if the people, like if Dennard and the other two would have left already.
God Squad.
Yeah.
Canon name is God Squad at this point.
But yeah, after he offered it to everyone, he would just walk up with the bottle in his hand to Ayla and say, "Hey, drink, you saved us."
It's called Scorpion Weed Reserve.
Scorpion weed? What?
Yes, Scorpion Weed Reserve.
And he doesn't even give you a glass or anything. He's just kind of holding the bottle at your face.
She's just like massive long gulps, which are probably like way too much for a little one to handle.
Oh yeah, no, he gave that to you, but he approached Ayla with the rest too because she kind of walked off by herself.
Oh, Isla's like,
Come, you save us, yes?
suppose perhaps a little bit. And she'll, not as big a swig as Eve, but she'll take a sip.
He gets a big stupid grin on his face. He goes, see, yes. Come sit, talk, yes? Get to know us. We get to know you.
And Lena is like, yes, come sit, have more drink. And Isla comes is like, well, I suppose. And she goes and sits down at the table with the others.
Eve, make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay with this. That was my goal. Why can't I find there? There it is. Constitution. I've got a pretty decent constitution. 10?
You're doing okay, but it's you definitely feel it.
I'm gonna take it. She's gonna like let her hand move towards the bottle as if to say, more please.
Yeah, he just hands it to you and he just starts pouring ale for himself and stuff.
Yes, more for me, Lena screams.
Knocks it back again.
Please.
She's been stressed. She needs the booze.
and it will. And I mean, Bjorn would tell the people like he hadn't met before about where he came from and how he was from the mountains and he was a part of a tribe. Like he would just give his background.
Like, hey, this is my backstory.
Yeah. I mean, someone saved him. He figures he owes it to them to tell them who he saved or who they saved.
And Lena would be like, I'm from up north. It's so much warmer up there.
Mm. It is so much warmer. She's
from
like,
down south.
and then everyone watches Eve freeze for a minute and just says, I never got my cloak or my dagger back from the kids.
Well, now you have a silver dagger.
I lost my cloak though, my nice fluffy warm cloak.
Well, I carry them. I'll say that Bjorn probably would have kept the cloaks like once their parents picked them up.
Ripping
But
them off the kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't belong to you.
Do I
As they're walking away, cloak, please.
Do I just see you like holding the?
He probably would have left it.
She's like completely bundled up in it. Then when she says yes, much warmer. She's essentially bundled in a cloak, just double fisting the goddamn liquor bottle.
And looking at Ayla, does she look like a standard elf from these lands?
Yep, she looks like typical moon elf.
Okay.
Which, for the most part, is the majority of the elves that you see nowadays.
Okay. Yeah, he would just look at her and say, "Where do you come from?"
A place that's not really around anymore, unfortunately.
Well, that's cryptic.
Just looks a bit confused and okay. Do you plan on going anywhere particular after this?
Well, I suppose I'll just be going around. I'm mostly collecting information. Nothing that you would be able to help with, but someone might out there.
He kind of gets a big smile on his face. He goes, "Hey, you do not underestimate us. We are quite capable."
Quite capable in medicine.
This might be awkward for you, but he points over to Lena and just says, "She is able to help when we get hurt."
Lena's like, I use healing kits. And Isla's just like, oh, okay. Not just healing kits. Medicine as in disease and such. Lena's like, nope, no, I haven't been really taught anything about stuff like that. Poisons a little bit, but not, I don't know, herbs or anything. Maybe a little bit of first aid.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else everyone else is going to do, but Bjorn is going to pretty much make his goal to finish at least the bottle for the rest of the night.
Lena will pass out at some point and just fall asleep at the table.
Son will continue.
So you all get a
drinking.
long rest so you can reset your health and your spells and all that stuff.
Eve's drinking until she's passed out.
Yep.
She's had a long day. She's had a long few
Since
days.
You haven't used these character sheets. There's a thing on there. You just click long rest and it'll
What?
do it for you.
What?
Right
What?
underneath your speed on the character sheet.
What?
Yep, you just click the button and it'll automatically get rid of all your spells and or refill your health and your spells and stuff.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It has its limitations, but I think overall this is the best character sheet.
I mean, I like the big ones. I like the usual ones.
I mean, and as Bjorn's starting to get extremely drunk, he would look at the dwarves and say, "Oh, we stay here, or do I can carry them?" And he kind of points to the passed out people to tavern.
Yeah, they tell you guys that you can stay with them again.
All right.
Does anybody in the room speak Infernal?
No, Bjorn definitely does not.
No.
If no one speaks Infernal, then when Eve's really fucking drunk, like almost blackout, you just hear a string of sort of cursed infernal tones that sound like a demon is speaking to you. And she sounds angry and she sounds like sad and pissed off, and then she passes out drunk.
Bjorn looks fucking terrified.
Don't worry, Bjorn. She's just speaking her native tongue.
Big old Swig still looking completely terrified, and he just doesn't even look. Whoever, I don't know whether it's Ayla or Soren over to his right, he just hands the bottle over that way.
Thank
Isla
you.
would pass it on.
My girl speaks Infernal when she's pissed.
Yeah, I mean, Bjorn will eventually pass out too. Probably just sleep on the floor by the fire.
Aww.
Alrighty. So, just for the sake of expediency, we'll have you guys head back. Eve, you guys can go and you can break into the house if you really want to. That you don't find anything. Also, nobody at the jeweler's knows that mark.
Okay.
I'm not very hungover. Nice.
Wait, yeah, you can do a roll for that?
I mean, I just did it for fun. I don't know
What else you
if
got?
Matt would have us actually roll for it.
Oh, well, I am also barely hangover words.
Let's see what Lena does.
Look at you
Yeah.
guys. Fucking 20s.
What
All
the
right.
fuck is
I
this shit?
say we all just quit fighting and stuff, and we just form a drinking team and tour the countryside.
I'm okay with this.
It'll be like Beer Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the halfling's still feeling a little down, but
Not the halfling anymore, right? That's Soren.
well, but he rolled for.
Oh yeah,
Rude.
true.
So we've nearly got the original crew back together.
All right. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, as we're walking and stuff, does Lena explain that she's going to kind of stay a bit longer in Tessera and stuff?
Yeah, she would just say something like, for now, she wants to stay in Tessera and not travel around too much.
Well, the rest of you don't specifically have any place to go just yet, but
Mhm.
we'll say that all of you meet back up with Grayson, and you're invited in.
Are the two assholes out front?
No, you haven't seen them since the very first time. You don't know exactly what's happened to them.
Okay.
But as you enter, Victoria actually is there to answer the door, and she tells you guys to have a seat. And you wait a bit longer than you had previously. And as Grayson makes his appearance, you can see that he looks a little, I guess maybe a bit haggard. His clothing is not quite as sharp as it normally is when you see him. He looks a little bit preoccupied. And he goes on to kind of explain, well, first of all, just so that we can skip past all of it, that goes into the very, very happy to see all of you there. For now, we'll also say just we'll have the other, like, everybody will have stopped here except like just so because he has to pay everybody.
Okay.
So I don't know how you guys want to split it out. So it's the original. So for Rue and Ayla and Denard, you all would be able to. Let me see. Between the three of you, Eve, you were not included in this. This was him hiring these other people. The three of you would split 2,500 gold.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right. Quick math. everyone would get 833 gold and just that. Don't even worry about the silver.
Yeah, there's the silver. So yeah, if you want to add 833 gold to your character sheets for those characters, Denard and Rue, this not gonna serve you much purpose because you guys are leaving, but Ayla's got some money in her pocket now. So we'll say that you guys stopped by, picked up your reward, as he does. Eve, you missed this part of it. When we first met Grayson, he does make you sign the receipts to verify that you have received the money. He keeps a little ledger and has all that, and hands you guys your receipts, saying yes, you got the money that you were owed, and sends you guys on your way. And he again is not quite as jovial as you had previously seen him, but he takes you on there, and we'll assume that Lena has also kind of gone off to rest and whatever she is choosing to do, but he talks to the rest of you and says, I appreciate everything that you've done. Had a bit of bad luck as far as having people working for me as of late, so good that people of your abilities are still around. What I would like to offer you now is something a bit more. I would consider you, as up until this point, to have been contractor. What I'm in need of at the moment is something a little bit more in depth than that. I suppose you could view it as more of a employee type of thing, where you would work directly for me. I can offer you a place to base your operations out of. And he sort of, you tell that he's very hesitant about revealing too much, but he says there is more that I would like to share with you, and there's more that I would like for you to do, and I hope that I've proven myself trustworthy, and I believe that you are all trustworthy as well. But this will take a little bit more commitment on your side if we are to continue this relationship. This may put you in precarious positions that may mean that you can't come back from it, so to speak. Not in anything sinister as far as coming back, like I'm not referring to death or anything like that, but if you choose to go down this path with me, there may be no turning back from it.
He was looking at him very suspiciously.
Bjorn kind of just. Oh yeah, all right.
I was saying you can do insight checks if you want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say she wants to do. Wow.
Yeah, that's actually Bjorn's.
Soren plus save us.
Soren and Ayla, one thing that you will you all recognize, even with 20s and 21s, Grayson's very, very, and I'll say this, I'll metagame this by saying he's very charismatic and he's very hard to read. But with a 20 and 21, you believe that that he's telling you the truth. He's not. He is obviously hiding something because he hasn't told you exactly what he's talking about yet. But he does appear to be honest in that he would like to tell you more, but he needs you to agree to essentially accept that basically just to agree to follow him down this road before he'll tell you a bit more.
Isla would say, I don't mind doing so. I've got nothing to go back to, as long as you help me with the information I asked for before.
And he nods and sort of looks at the rest of you.
Well, you know my secret, and you also sent people to come rescue us. So I do not mind continuing our partnership.
And Eve just yawns.
Sorry.
Does Eve have any?
Eve's looking at him very carefully. She's like, so you want us essentially to trust in you and agree to work with you before we know what we're doing?
He sort of gives that little smile and says, kind of.
Fuck, I want to use charm person right now so bad.
What could go wrong?
You could certainly try.
But this bastard's gonna fucking win. I have a sense that he's fucking charisma's through the roof, and he's gonna fucking pass any fucking check with flying colours. So, and I don't want to piss him off.
Bjorn is gonna kind of just stand up, and like as I'm looking around, does he have any like just blank pieces of paper on his desk?
Probably, yeah.
You'll see Bjorn do something really, really quick to one of his fingers, and he just puts his finger down on a piece of paper and does the same stupid symbol because he doesn't know how to write his name that he did for the signature on the receipt last time, and he goes, I agree.
Did he just sign his signature in blood? Essentially,
He doesn't have a signature. He literally kind of makes just makes a squiggly line.
But is it in blood?
Yeah.
Fuck.
He didn't have ink.
I have a. Eve looks at him and pulls out her quill and ink, which she carries with her, and just looks at him like.
It works the same.
Signing your name in blood with the devil.
What could go wrong?
Like Soren said, he just sent people to save us and stuff, so Bjorn has no reason not to trust him right now. Also not smart, so there's always that too.
So, I mean, everybody so far now, except for Eve, has at least agreed to hear him out. So, he's just staring at you now, stroking his little goatee.
Bjorn picks up the paper with his blood on it and just hands it to you.
He takes it. He puts it in the
Eve's
drawer.
looking at him very carefully, looking him up and down. And like she's the daughter of someone who did business. She knows this is a really shitty deal on their end. But she says, all right, but if you backstab us, then the deal's off. Got it?
He just chuckles. So he turns back to the rest of you and says, oh, well, okay. So first and foremost, let's get the good stuff out of the way. And he looks at Bjorn and Sorn, and he says, the two of you were involved in some business with ghouls, I believe. And if you recall, one of the first places that you went was the Moonglade hunting lodge.
That was the one inside the forest?
Yes, the
Yes.
Dolan Marta Forest. It's about roughly about a day from Ornheim into the woods. And he says, I've taken the liberty of procuring that location.
Can't hear anyone.
And you
There you
all
go.
can use that as a base of operations if you'd like.
Bjorn kind of looks at him and then at Soren and he goes, hey, the undead gone?
And he sort of smiles like maybe I was mistaken. I'm not sure that the undead were ever there specifically.
Bjorn, it's where we found all the dead bodies and the bandits.
Oh, not temple, the house before.
Correct.
Oh, yes.
So then he's like that's the good news. That's a thing that you guys can, rather than having to stay in Testra, and sort of like looks around at his office and says, turns out I'm probably not going to be able to stay here much longer myself. There is, as there tends to be, there's a slight favor, at least I would ask of you as far as that location is concerned, and if you would be so gracious as to allow my daughter to stay there. And there's also someone else who I'd like to stay there with you as well. She can prove to be quite useful to you, I'm sure. Um, and he knocks on his desk again, and that same um, woman that you saw before, the tall, thin woman in the hood, walks out.
Well, only
And
Eve saw her.
Yeah.
correct. Yes. So Eve, you recognize her. The rest of you haven't met her. Of course,
Eve narrows her eyes at her
I mean,
again.
technically, Eve has never met her either. She's only seen her. And he puts his hand up, and says, first and foremost, I would ask that you not be alarmed. And he motions over to her and says, this is my friend Melindria. We call her Mally. And I'll type for you.
That's an adorable name.
Do what?
It's an adorable name, Melly. Oh, out of character. That was just me gushing over cuteness.
So she
I have a bad feeling about this already.
so she puts her hood down, and she slowly lifts her head up, and as she opens her eyes, you see that they are glowing turquoise.
Oh, that's normal.
All right. Bjorn has been told about this, right?
Yes.
That the turtle. He doesn't pull it out, but he immediately reaches for his maul and stands in front of the people he knows have magic.
Eve is immediately hiding behind Bjorn, and she has her hand on your back, and you can feel she is fucking terrified. She is shaking.
And he again, he sort of just smiles and puts his hands up, and he kind of he chuckles a little bit and says, again, don't be alarmed. And here I'll show you. Put this in. So this is what this is who you see. And you can see that she has her eyes are scarred. She has this black. It's she's got a scar across her face, and she has these this black scars essentially. Almost look like her eyes have been burned. And he explains that Mally was a recruit for the Mordoon, and the alchemical process that is used to turn people into, or to initiate them into the Order of the Black Rose, it doesn't always work. Some people die, and Mally was considered a reject, and she never was actually a part of the group. However, and as Grayson explains, she is a very skilled alchemist. She is, in fact, the one who made the healing potions that I gave to you previously. Through the process of, the attempt to turn her into a Mordoon, she took quite an interest to how the process works. And she doesn't talk much, but she's still good company. And you can see that, after she opened her eyes, she's kind of mousy and kind of meek, and she kind of has been looking down, she hasn't even been making eye contact with anybody. She just looks kind of like she's not threatening at all.
Bjorn kind of looks at him and says, "She see magic."
She does, though not quite as powerfully as the Mordoon. And generally, the difference is, and you can see like in the picture, that basically her irises are glow a bit. The Mordoon, like their entire eyes are generally all turquoise. Even the whites of their eyes, like it's just a full on thing. Whereas it didn't fully take with her, and her irises changed, and she can see some. She essentially has the ability to see magic, but it's not like it's not as powerful. Like she has to be closer, and that type of thing. So, and she was hurt. I mean, you like the black and stuff around her eyes. It's because it damaged her.
Bjorn, you can probably relax now.
And it did, like, as well, like those of you, I mean, Eve would probably know more than the rest of you, but the Mordoon do tend to look like that, as far as like they generally have pale skin. It turns their hair white. Not all of them. There are a few where their hair color doesn't change, but generally they all have a very pale grayish, sort of like dead kind of look to their skin. And they are all, every single one of them are elves.
Yeah, Eve has not let go. Wow, words, fuck. Eve has not fucking. I can't word tonight. Eve has not let go of Bjorn at all. She is still shaking. She's still obviously scared.
Bjorn's gonna kind of he'll let go of it, the like handle of his maul, and he'll look at her and look at Grayson again and say, "Mage hunters see her as magic."
She, just like you, I'm sure, does prefer to avoid their gaze. They don't treat their, and he sort of looks at her in an apologetic sort of way. Like they don't really treat their rejects too well.
Bjorn kind of looks at him and then turns to everyone else and says, "You give us a moment to speak."
Of course. And
Yes.
he ushers Mally out of the room, and they both go behind the green curtain.
Bjorn kind of looks at everyone. He says, "Grayson just save us, and he trusts his little one with this woman. So I do not think dangerous, but I also am not magic like you."
To want to do it in the first place means you're okay with killing people who have an innate gift with magic.
Do we know that are they recruited, or do they choose to do it? Do we know that?
Do
I know Bjorn wouldn't know it.
right. Soren and Eve and Ayla all do history checks. Okay. So, you would all know that originally, when they numbered in the thousands and they were almost in an army unto themselves, most of them did choose to do this because it was considered a extremely high honor, and this was like during the war, and this was like the coolest. This was like being like the Green Beret or the Navy SEALs. Like this was like the top military thing that you could possibly be. They're not really considered military anymore. They're more of just like a Imperial Guard type of thing because there are a lot less of them. But because there are a lot less of them, they were always conscripted from time to time, but currently it's both. You still have some people who choose to join, but it's not an entirely voluntary basis. Some of them are still conscripted. In most cases, though, it's people don't want to do it anymore because it can lead to death, and you are essentially stuck doing this for the rest of your life You don't get to retire from doing this. So
here's a quick question.
Yep.
Are there more Dune children? Like, do they have like do they have like social lives, or are they just like law enforcement? Like, do they have
that's why
wives and stuff?
they don't. That's
Okay.
essentially why people don't choose to do it very often.
Okay.
With the people who do choose to do it, similarly, like today, like in the world where poor people join the military because it's their way out, right? Like this will pay for my college, or this will do this. You know what I mean? It's just a way for people to get out of their circumstances.
Okay.
So that's a thing that people still do here, because it's like, well, I can live on the streets and die, or I can try and do this where I might die, but you know,
It's a better option.
it's a better option. But the wealthy people within Tesra, they would never choose to do this ever.
Okay. Well, as
So
soon as
but
she
there
says,
are. That's not to say there certainly are people who are gung ho and want to do it. But
well, as soon as she says that this is something she chose, Bjorn immediately like goes, "Well, probably not the best idea."
If she were to be a threat, I don't see her being one anymore, considering the more Dune hunt any form of magic.
And you see she sort of pauses for a moment, and as if she's having like a mini flashback, and she says, I can't trust her, I'm sorry. She can stay with us, but I'm never gonna trust her.
I'm fine with her. She creates healing potions that would be useful to us.
Bjorn's kind of looking at Eve and just says, I mean, sometimes better to get to know enemy or people who have hurt you, so that way you know how they think.
Trust me, I already know how those kind of people think. Then she just goes quiet.
If that's the case, Storm will shout out to Grayson that we're ready to continue discussions.
all right, so he comes back without Mally, and he takes a seat, and he looks at you, Sorn and Bjorn, but he speaks to you, Sorn, and says, to continue, sort of the reason for all of the secrecy and such. Our mutual friend Aaron has drawn unwanted attention, and we have had to move her as well. As I said, they've taken an interest in me as well, so I must also leave Tesra. I think it's best if, for the moment, we don't discuss where that may be. I do, and then he looks over at you, Eve. I do have something that might interest you, and he points to you, Eve, and he points to you, Thorn, and he gets up from his desk and he walks over and grabs a book, and sort of like you see that he's slipping through the pages, and it's like he knows where it is, but he's not entirely sure where it is, so it takes him a minute or so, and he finally finds what he's looking for, and he walks back to the desk, and he places it down, and he offers the book to you first, Sorn, and says, "This might be interesting to you, and I think that you may be able to show Eve a bit more about how this would be helpful." And it actually is. I don't think that you could cast it yet, but it is the alter self spell. So you could copy that down into your spell book. I don't believe that's actually a sorcerer spell, but I will allow you to teach it to.
I mean, I was
As
gonna
well.
take ritual caster as a feat next level. So
Oh, actually, alter self is a sorcerer and a wizard spell, so you can't teach it to Ayla, but
I
actually,
can
it's
teach.
second
Yeah.
level. It's a second level spell, yeah. So
I mean, I can
so
cast
you would
second
get this.
level.
So Eve, this would be an in addition to. So I'm gonna allow you. I would allow you to have this spell on top of.
So it
your
wouldn't count
regular
against like her
spells.
known spells.
Right. It would not count against your known spells. This would be a spell that you could just cast, and it would always be prepared. So
nice, that'd be useful.
As they're like having their discussion, Bjorn looks back at Grayson and goes, "This woman, she choose to do this to herself?"
and you can see that he kind of, for the first time, you actually see an emotion that you haven't seen on Grayson's face before, and it's a bit of sadness. And he just kind of he shakes his head negatively.
It seems like it might be a situation we deal with in the Underdark as well. The males don't really get a choice in what they do. Would that be a fair assumption?
I mean, it's not popped out.
You
Hello.
may have to add it manually because sometimes Roll20 is just ass.
Mm.
Yeah, we can hear you, Robert.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's kind of like how male drow don't get much of an option of what we do in the Underdark. Is it the same situation with her?
She came from a background of lesser means, and again, they spotted her ability to cast magic, and like they like to pretend that that's not a thing. And so, rather than allowing her to go off on her own and use her magic for means that they didn't approve of, they decided to use that ability to turn her against those who use magic. But
And
failed.
you trust daughter with her.
I trust my daughter. I trust my own life with her.
He's kind of just looking at the other three.
Eve is not looking at the woman at all. She's looking
Well, I don't
She's not
think she's
there.
in here.
No, she's not there anymore. She
Oh,
didn't come
Eve
back.
just looks angry and upset. I'm just testing to see if it worked.
Yeah.
Nope. It doesn't tell you what the spell is. Oh, yes it does. No, it doesn't.
Nope.
Oh, it says it on the Shry sheet. How do I make it say it?
Well, I don't see any inherent problem with her coming along.
I don't see it either.
she will stay in the lodge and watch over it for you when you're not there. But leaving aside Mally for the moment, back to, and then he reverts his attention back to Sorn and Bjorn because the other two don't know who Aaron is. But he says, since you've agreed to work with me about this, I feel that I should give you a little more explanation. When we first met and we first discussed Aaron, I made mention of a prophecy regarding her. And Victoria, my daughter, she does have abilities herself. She has visions. She can see things that have not yet happened. And she had a vision about the fall of the Empire. And that's basically roundabout what my goal is as well, and what I need your help to do. This empire, while some people may live comfortably and some people would view the empire as not being all that bad, and I suppose you could say that it isn't necessarily all that bad. There are good things about it, I grant. However, the idea that they persecute and kill people who can cast magic through no fault of their own is not something that is good for anyone. And I may not originally be from Valinor myself, but I do consider myself a denizen of this land now, and I would like to see it prosper. But the prophecy that I had found after the vision that Victoria had, I went back and found in ancient texts. It took me quite a while to procure these, as you can imagine. It's not difficult to find these nowadays. But I believe that Aaron is one of the Eladrin. And I won't go into this in RP, but I will explain to you who the Eladrin are. Um, the Eladrin themselves were essentially, within our world here, the Eladrin were the precursors, the original sort of like Fae that the elves came from. The Eladrin themselves have been gone from Valinor and actually the entire world for thousands of years. But the prophecy that he's discussing and that he found documents for, and they were clerics of Saloon actually who made this. I guess, and there it was essentially a prophecy of their own. And the music stopped again. Here, let me paste here. It's very short, but essentially, this is where this is where the name of our game comes from. The Eladrin are the Elder Blood. And through Victoria and through this document that Grayson found, he believes that Aaron is the key to bringing balance back to Valinor and to topple the Empire. Now, back into RP, he explains, I do not believe that this is anything that we can do via force. This is not a war that we are starting. This is not something where we will raise an army and strike down the Empire. This is something that we must do covertly. We need to destroy it from within. So the two things that are required as far as that goes are, not surprisingly, money and time being the other. But the reason that I'm bringing you into this now, and the reason for the urgency of this, that I trusted someone with this information once, and it turns out that this person has betrayed that trust. And someone within the Empire has procured some documents that this person gave them. So, what I would like you all to do, and what I need you all to do, is twofold. One, I need you to find this traitor, and I need you to deal with them. And he sort of pauses. Well, let's just say there are two ways that this person could be dealt with. Ideally, I would like this person returned to me. However, if they may befall some terrible accident, that would also be an acceptable outcome. The second part of this is that however you see fit in dealing with this traitor, I will leave to you. Except, don't let them go. The second part, however, is that we need to recover this information that was stolen or freely given by this traitor. So there are possibly an agent of the Empire who has this. Now, my people have already tried to find this person, so the good news of that is that this person is on the run, which means they have not returned to Testra to give this information over to the Empire. However, I'm sure you can now see why I must leave. So, you'll also forgive me if I request one other thing of you. And that is an assurance that no matter what happens, you won't betray this information as well.
Well, as a drow, I don't really have too much love for how the Empire treats those with magic, so I have nothing to worry about for myself.
I have only found out about the Empire since leaving Tribe a month or so ago, so I would not have anyone to speak to anyways.
And he looks at everybody and says, does anyone have any objections if I... Again, he stops and he strokes his beard a little bit and says, if I make sure that this information is not lost, and this is for your benefit as well as mine. So, for example, what I alluded to originally was that this puts you on a path that you can't turn back from. If the Empire finds out you were involved at all, then you have put yourself in a position, a precarious position. What I would like to do is put in place a guarantee that if something terrible may happen and you may be captured, that no matter what happens, you will literally be unable to discuss what we are discussing here. And he sort of just looks and he kind of like, I want to cast a spell. to make sure that nobody talks.
Bjorn just shrugs. He's like, I do not understand what he's talking about. If they are okay, I am okay.
You want to cast arcane magic on us?
Yes.
What
What
does it do entirely?
Essentially, it makes you incapable of speaking or having your mind read as far as the information that we've discussed here today, or may even discuss later on.
I'll accept it if not. I'm not the first one to be cast on.
I go first.
Mm. Out of character, that spell sounds sketchy as fuck.
Out of game, he is a unique class and has the ability to do things that are not in the player's handbook.
Aren't you just thinking, what the fuck is this spell? I don't know this one.
Bjorn just kind of goes in front of him and like puts his head down and he goes, I do not know what to do.
No.
And he smiles, and you can see he
Wanna come up?
he makes his a motion with his hand, and for the fun of it, everybody but Bjorn, go ahead and do an Arcana check.
I had my character sheet up, I could do it. If my character sheet wants to load, 'cause it's now just a white sheet. Alright, Arcana.
So you can see that he you don't know what he's doing, Eve, but you recognize that he's speaking in Infernal as he's casting the spell, and you can tell that he's not. He's like he's not saying anything. But the words that he's using to cast the spell are Infernal. So it's not like he's not saying like I'm going to kill you all or anything like that. But you recognize that he's using Infernal to cast the spell, and you also see that the hand motion he's making is not one that any of you have seen. However, as he's doing that, he reaches out and he just uses his index finger and he very lightly touches your forehead, Bjorn, and that's it. Like you don't see anything, you don't feel anything. Nobody, the rest of you don't see anything on his forehead or anything. But Soren, with the 17, you feel like you've heard of what he's doing, which is that he's essentially placing a seal onto him.
As soon as he touches Bjorn's forehead, Bjorn falls to the ground.
Isla looks down at him and is like, try to speak of the things that you spoke of right now. Or try to tell your name. You do remember your name, right? He didn't steal that off, did he?
He is trying his best to hold his breath and pretend to be dead.
And Grayson is just kind of smiling at him. And while that's happening, Soren, you're just kind of going through the stuff that you know, because though tieflings are related to demons and devils, and so they do have a connection to the abyss. And while the Underdark doesn't necessarily have a full connection to the abyss, you would be more aware of it than a lot of people on the surface would be, because there are instances in history where someone in the Underdark has done something stupid and released. There's actually a whole campaign called Out of the Abyss about that very thing, where you're familiar with the abyss. You know enough about it, and you would know that the some of the people have the ability to place these seals, and they can be used for good and bad. You would know that there are demons and devils and stuff that use seals to they can place like multiple seals on people, and then at a later date use those seals to do any number of things, try to control their mind or make their brain explode, or any number of different things that can be used by that. But that like it also can be used for things like this, where it would just block out parts of your memory. But in this case, he's not blocking out memory, so it's not that any of you would forget anything. It's just that you would literally be unable to speak it, and people who tried to probe your mind would not be able to see this part of your memory either.
Okay, so as he's finished casting it, someone will go, so you're using a seal as a magical contract.
And he smiles real big and gives you a little wink.
Very well.
After like 5 seconds, you hear Bjorn like have a big huff and pushes himself up. He goes, "Oh, no one cares if Bjorn die, huh?"
Hey, Eve was like on her knees next to you. I was trying to see that, but everybody was talking.
And he just moves out of the way and lets everyone else do what they got to do.
So is everybody else agreeing to it?
Yeah, Isla would be like, if the arcane user is accepting it, then I'll accept it too. And big guy doesn't seem much worse for wear.
So he proceeds to do that, and then Isla, you can attempt to try and talk about the prophecy or whatever, and like you literally can't get the words out.
Yeah, she'll attempt it.
And and when you do that, he kind of gets the gist of what you're trying to do, and he gives you a wink as well. Like, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, very interesting, actually.
As he's doing this, everyone, Bjorn kind of looks at him and says, will we be able to discuss with each other to come up with plans, or will we not even be able to do that?
This only keeps you from speaking it out loud. You can discuss, and then the things that we're discussing now, you wouldn't be able to speak out loud to someone who doesn't already know.
Okay.
You can speak it to me, but I would suggest not talking too much about it amongst yourselves. And then he looks at you, Soren, and says, I have another spell I could teach you once you learn a bit more. And he, again, like, it's difficult to do this, like, sort of like out of, like, in game, but essentially he tells you that eventually he would like to teach you how to modify memory.
It has a pretty cool spell to have.
It's a useless spell.
Well, I am on the surface to learn about magics and why it was outlawed, so I would definitely be interested.
So, FYI, if you haven't looked, that's a 5th level spell. So when that's a
Yeah.
I don't know when wizards can learn that, but you get the idea that like alter self and casting these seals and modify memory, you start to get an idea about the kind of magic user that our friend Mr. Grayson is.
Yes, he's a super fiendish spy.
He's a sneaky boy.
But essentially, he gives you a few leads as far as where you might go to search for these folks. The trader was last seen heading towards Ferndale. The Imperial person was last seen in Otar, and or going towards Otar rather, not at Otar. So to give you that was just added. So Testra being the capital and where the empire actually is, Otar is essentially where the standing army is, because they don't reside in Testra. So Otar is a place that if you couldn't get to Testra, if you wanted to deal with business related to the empire, Otar would probably be a pretty good place to go. Two things about that. In addition to the standing army, it is also where the headquarters of the Mordoon. There are Mordoon in Tesra. There are Mordoon in other parts of in other cities, but their leadership is in Otar.
So clearly the magic users should go there.
Right? So that's again, this is why we need to be quick. We need to be quiet. We need to make sure that this person does not reach out. Because if so, most likely, my plans are lost, and I'll probably be killed.
If you say you wish us to return traitor to you, yes?
Ideally, however,
How will we do this if we do not know where you go?
and he can't find this. I had this item, and I can't find it on Roll20. Where is it?
What, like sending stones?
No, they're not sending stones. He reaches into his desk, and I think we had this in the last campaign. And he pulls out this like box of paper, and it turns out that they are paper bird.
Oh, those were fucking cool.
Yeah. So essentially, you can. It's like the sending spell, except you actually write it. And he hands you a box, probably of maybe 25 sheets of paper, and says that keep an eye out for these, and these are ones that you can use to write messages to me. And he sort of like pauses for a second and says, don't be surprised if you hear from me directly.
Well, some of us won't be surprised. Just be careful who you send it to out of the group.
And then he sort of like looks at you, Bjorn, and you hear him in your head say, I think they're talking about you, big guy. But he's looking at you and his mouth doesn't move. You just hear it in your head.
Scared shitless. I look, I go, who? What? And I just start looking around everywhere and like seeing it, what did you do?
Bjorn, magic.
Paper is magic, yes.
Yes, people have magic to send thoughts.
I kind of like look at it and I look back at Grayson like when my eyes narrowed a little bit, and he goes, no, in my head, yes.
And he just nods.
Yeah. And then he like Bjorn kind of walks back towards the wall to like just lean against it, like you can see him hitting the side of his head, like trying to knock something out of his ear.
I don't believe that's necessary.
He kind of just stops and like slouches down against the wall.
And so he says, "Well, so for the record, I have some people that are currently tracking both the Imperial agent as well as the traitor. The traitor is closer and may possibly be what we should go for first. I do trust the people that I have watching the Imperial, and I think that may be safe to leave for the moment. But I would suggest going to your new residence first.
To confirm, you stated that the Imperial had not made it to Otar yet?
Correct.
What,
They don't know that we're actually looking for them, so they're not don't appear to be, at least, in a particular hurry to get anywhere. This information is not. This is more about. It's mostly about the prophecies. It's mostly about Aaron. It's not so much something that they could put two and two together immediately, and so I don't even think they know exactly what they have at the moment. I just fear that if it gets into the right hands, someone will figure it out. I don't think the person who's currently carrying this information knows exactly what it is. Our friend, the trader, wasn't particularly smart in the first place, so probably didn't do a very good job of explaining the information that they had.
well, would it be more prudent to make a quick stop at the new hideout and continue on post haste to intercept before Otar?
I believe whatever you decide to go towards first is fine with me.
Well, I'd very much rather not have to deal with an Imperial in the Mordoon base than in the middle of the wilderness.
It's a valid concern. I mean, the reason that he's bringing it up is just the distance traveling is to get from Pestra to Otar would take a while.
I mean, we'll have to go there eventually.
Yeah, so it's almost 500 miles,
Well, plus
and that it's actually longer than that because that's 500 miles. Like if you were by as the crow flies, which is not how you would get there.
so it can't. I said we got to go that direction. So if we did it while we're going that direction, then we can at least hook around and cut off the traitor if he tries heading north
Well,
to
the trader
Stonefall.
was going towards Ferndale, so he's actually going towards Terramale, which is Elvish for crossroads, by the way.
Oh yeah, I said, well, if we deal with the Imperial up north, then we can hook west and cut him off if he tries to continue going north.
I'll
Plus,
let you guys decide how you want to handle that.
This is why Bjorn likes being dumb. He doesn't have to think.
plus, if you've got people looking out for both of them, surely the information we can gain to hunt down either of them will make it easier.
And Grayson basically just says they both need to be taken care of, and however you decide, whichever you decide to do first, is I leave to you.
Any objections?
Nope, I'm fine either way.
I have not been paying attention.
Evelyn?
Did she pass out?
I'm awake.
Doesn't
What?
sound like it.
It's 2 a.m. I got up early today. I'm sorry.
Well, it's all good. I think that Soren is just kind of coming up with a plan of operations, like what to do first.
I think I might have to hop out here because I think I'm just gonna keep falling asleep. It's 2 a.m. and I got up really fucking early today.
Cool.
I'll go with whatever the group goes with. Eve's just being a quiet, petty bitch in the corner. Right,
Sounds like a plan.
Nice playing with you guys. Gotta run.
All right. Have a good night.
Woo.
All right. So what we'll do is we will. I'm going to move you guys. We'll just say. Well, first of all, was there anything else that you wanted to discuss with Grayson?
Isla would just be asking like the specific details of who the traitor is, how would they like recognize them, etc.
Which I will give you the details on when I have them, because I haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, same for the Imperial as well.
Yeah. So he will give you all those details. That's why I kept saying the traitor and not anybody's name, because I don't actually know his name yet.
Bjorn, like when it comes to this kind of stuff, Bjorn is just like he will follow and hit things that he's told to hit, pretty much.
All right. So this is what I'll just take you guys here now, because hey, why not? So you probably want to zoom out, because there actually is 2 levels here. So the bottom level is the upper floor. This is actually part of a different. This is actually like an official campaign that you're supposed to go to this place and fight, but we're just going to use it for your house.
That works.
Wasn't this for Dragon Queen?
I think so, yeah. This is actually done by the same artist who made the map. That is the one that it's a different one, but it's the same guy who made the map that Matt is using for the Mighty Nine. So you've got your first floor. If you look to the right there, you will see right here. Those are stables. Up here, because this is a hunting lodge, those are dog kennels.
I have a dog.
And then on the upper floor, you would see where there are. Well, if you go to the bottom, there's also the basement on the upper right-hand side of the map there, which is stupid that they put the upper floor and the basement together. But yeah, there's no. You can move your tokens wherever you want because there's no lighting or anything or restrictions, so you can just do whatever you want. But there are multiple bedrooms essentially, because you can see that there's some on the first floor that have beds. Because again, this is like a hunting lodge, so there would be multiple people. And then on the upper floor, there are the 4 rooms on the right-hand side that would be more like your bedroom.
I think I will sleep in this bed just so Ayla can hear his snoring.
And she claimed the largest bedroom for herself.
Although the one at the bottom here actually has books in it. The largest one doesn't have anything else in it. I mean, you could say there is, but
I feel like
good
books
design.
might suit the other 2. Eve or Sword.
Funny enough, like the bed that you're standing next to, Tara, like that's actually not in the actual map. I had to copy the one at the bottom and then paste it. That's why like the lines don't match, like the grid, because it didn't have a bed, and I'm like, but that why doesn't it have a bed? So I just copied it and pasted it. So I have the thing like that specifically says like what the rooms are technically supposed to be, but you guys can make it whatever you want. Just so that you can kind of grasp, like, so there is a big opening right here, right? So like this is
So this is like railing around,
right?
and
Exactly.
you can see
so, like,
down to the bottom floor.
Correct.
That's actually really cool.
So there's the stairs that go up, the stairs that go up here, and then there's the stairs that come up here, and then these are like essentially like a balcony that you can look down on.
Okay.
And this like room right here is just basically like an empty room as far as I can tell.
how high up does the stairs go? Like how high would it be if you were to look over the edge?
I mean, it's probably, I would say maybe 10, well, maybe like between 10 and 15 feet, probably.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's a
Bjorn
big
could jump
rock.
off there without dying.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So the bottom floor, if you want to like go back and look there, like there obviously are like guest rooms. There are like this room would be more like a kind of a library meeting room because you can see that there's like a desk and a chair, and then you've got your kitchen back here that goes into the basement is down here. There are stairs in the kitchen, and those stairs come up here. You can see in this corner of the upper
So it's like
floor.
service.
Yeah, and this is like a blacksmith sort of space.
Okay.
So let me also, because have it. I don't have it for that.
Actually, you know what? Bjorn would stay down in one of these little shitty rooms on the bottom floor for two reasons. One being that it's closer to all the food, and the second being he would offer one of the nicer rooms to the daughter, and she could stay in there with Mally.
Yeah, I have a token, but I don't have it set up for Victoria.
I mean, technically, Lena could come here as well.
Yeah, she could if you invited her to. So if you guys want to, if someone wants to write this down, I'm going to give you. I'm not going to make you, because you do have people that are staying here, but you don't have to pay them like you would because Mally can make you. I'll roll from time to time to see how often she makes them, but she would be able to make potions of healing for you. One of the things that you would want to keep in mind, which is why I also mentioned that you found some ingredients, is that that'd be a thing that you could look for to bring back to her,
Okay.
to make those. And I'll roll from time to time to see when she makes them, or how often she makes them, or how many she makes.
Okay.
But just if somebody wants to make a note of it somewhere, it may be a little bit difficult to track because I'm not going to like keep track on the calendar like I did in the other one. But roughly, it's going to cost about 15 gold a month, just as sort of like regular upkeep of this place. So it's not anything drastic, but just something that
like when we go out, bring supplies back and stuff.
Yeah. So just to keep things up and running. And then if you want, we could add in some like we could have people, if you wanted to open it up and allow people to like hunters and stuff to come here, they could possibly like pay, like, I don't want to say rent, but they could, like, if they're gonna they pay to stay there for the night or however long they're gonna stay there, whatever. We could have you guys like earn a little bit of income that way if you chose to do so, or you can, and that's just to sort of keep up the appearances that it is a functioning hunting lodge, or you can choose to not do that. I mean, it's in the woods, so it's not like it's on a main thoroughfare that people be like, well, why does nobody stay there anymore? You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not an inn. So if you chose not to allow people to come in here and continue using it as a hunting lodge before it was, damaged, then I don't think that anybody's gonna make a big deal about it. But you also could then keep horses here, if you bought them, and you could buy dogs, I guess, if you wanted to.
Okay.
I mean, that's something we can discuss during the week with everyone.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll pick up next time with you guys deciding who you want to go after.